The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right, all right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is June the 12th, 2025. And if you want to participate in the show, all you have to do is call the number that's in the description or it's on the screen, I believe, at 1717-908-1834. And hit the access code of 917324, and I will get you on the line here and you can share your opinion about whatever topic you want to, and I will do my best to moderate like I always do, and you guys can go back and forth. And as always, I just ask you to try to keep it above the board. Don't try to say nothing too gross or offensive, so the channel won't get flagged. But anything else, y'all know me, I allow it. It is what it is. And yeah, so let's just listen to me ramble for a while. And anytime you guys want to cut me off and call in, you can. I don't care. I'm just honestly, I'm I'm just rambling about whatever comes to my mind at the time, and I'm just going on and on and on and on and on. So it ain't no big deal if you cut me off, because but I do think what I have to say, what's up East Coast, is important and relevant to the time. So, what's up MJ? And you guys can call in and let me know what's up. But let's talk about, like we always do. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I open my mic back up? Yeah, let's just talk about what's going on, and from my perspective, how I view us in this country. Um, Everybody knows about what's going on out there in Los Angeles, right? This is not nothing that that should surprise anybody in the way that it's been escalated. Now, of course, we live in America, and people in America have a right, a actual right by the Constitution, to protest when it's not violent or you're not destroying property. That's clearly in the Constitution. but it was escalated by the Trump administration by sending National Guard and police officers out there. And the reason I'm painting this picture like this right here, because there's a method behind their madness, I believe. And it's clear as day to me what's going on here. Years ago, when it came to what is going on in America and Trump's first administration, y'all always heard that there was going to be a civil war. People on the right went nuts with claiming there was going to be a civil war, right? I never fell for it, but even some people on the left kind of felt like, hey, all of this is going to come to a head, and there's going to be a civil war, right? Now, just to be clear, I don't think that it's going to get to that point to where there's an actual civil war. The worst that I think might happen is you might have some protesters fighting back against the police, right? So that happens in all the protests. So, but they don't never group up and actually turn into a unit and try to fight against the police. But people always push back. They always vandalize the cars and throw rocks and bottles and shit like that, right? But I don't think it's going to be to where the civilians are grabbing weapons and shooting at cops and all that kind of shit. You might have a nut out there that might try that shit, but I doubt it. But they're always talked about this civil war that was going to happen in America. And like I said, the other side, the left, if you will, some of them said, there's going to be a civil war and all that kind of stuff. And I think that the left gets fed, and I ain't trying to insult nobody. The left gets led around the nose by what the right is propagandizing. In other words, if they repeat something enough, then after a while, the left, I'm going to say we, will start believing it. For instance, when you look at the candidacy of Kamala Harris, then that lady is the most qualified person to run for that office, right? But the right repeated so much shit about Kamala Harris, next thing you know, the other side was repeating the same shit about Kamala Harris. Same thing with Barack Obama. The right just ran so many conspiracies about Barack Obama, the other side started picking up the stuff about Barack Obama, talking about he ain't my president, he ain't really black and all this kind of shit, right? When it came to Joe Biden, the right just demonized that man, and next thing you know, here's the other side repeating the same shit. So they control the message. And that's, you can argue that if you want to, but they control whatever the hell type of conspiracy is going on in this country, whatever type of rumors or lies, they control all of that shit. And it's not like the other side don't have a voice. It's just that the machine that pushes out that voice ain't as big as the other side. I mean, they've been at this shit for years. It goes even further back when you look at the demonization of African Americans. We African Americans came over to this country, some of the hardest working humans on the goddamn planet. Worked so hard that we made this nation the richest fucking place on the damn face of the earth. Worked so hard that we came out of that torture and abuse to be demonized and lied upon whenever they said that we don't work and we are lazy, we don't do shit, we rob, we steal, all that bullshit, right? So what happened? Instead of people looking at this group of people who was tortured, enslaved, and abused, and saying, hey, those guys really work hard and they can contribute to the society. No, white people demonized our people and was telling us how lazy we are, how uneducated we are, how unintelligent we are. And that shit caught on so much so white people believe it, and you hear black people criticizing their own people for the same shit. It's just they control the damn message. And at not one point in time have I ever believed that black people were this stereotypical lazy, um, do nothing type of people. I've never believed that. I've never believed that, right? But because we live in a society that the majority message is we're so bombarded with all of this bullshit about black people, people just pick it up and they repeat it. That's how you get your Candace Owens. That's how you get all of these Jesse Petersons and Sarges and ABC. I got to mention them motherfuckers. That's how you get people with that mindset, because that message is so strong that our own people believe that bullshit, because what? White is always right according to them, right? So, getting back to this rebellion, or this thing in LA, where they said that there's going to be what the hell was the word I use when people turn against the damn government, whatever it was. I don't drew a damn blank. But there was they're going to be a rebellion or whatever. What I'm telling you is, I don't believe that the majority of Americans, when they started saying that people was going to turn against the country and fight the government, I don't believe the majority of the people believe that, right? But it's been said so much. White people has collected guns. They have created militias. They have spread the propaganda. They have always believed that shit. And the most susceptible person to all of these conspiracies is the president of the United States. He believes that. That's the dangerousness of having Donald Trump as a president, because he don't have that leadership ability to try to rise above all of these divisive things in America and be a leader. He has nestled himself into the same type of environment that believes that white people are better than black people, that he is better than anybody, that he can lie, he can rape people, he can steal, he can cheat, he can break the law. He has nestled himself in this corner of protection in society, to where the people that he wants to support him is the majority of the population that is racist. So Donald Trump, that's why he's so dangerous, because he's nestled himself into the extremists in this country. And you can watch his policies and how they're played out and see that what I'm saying is true. Now, the media won't say what I'm saying for some unknown goddamn reason. The media won't say what I'm saying for some reason. But it's clear as day what Donald Trump is doing. He's not that leader or president that we're used to seeing in America, that tried to be in the center and look out. They put on this facade of being in the center and try to look out for all Americans. Donald Trump is not that president. Donald Trump has clearly chose his political side, chose the race of people that he wants to support, chose the racism type that he wants to support, and him and his administration is blatantly putting it in your face. They're blatantly, they're so racist that when I used to call them racist, people used to come on here and say, "Yeah, you just calling everybody racist." No, Donald Trump is clearly racist, as we talked about last week, when he's allowing white South Africans to come into the country as migrants. and he's deporting brown people because he want America to be a white country. It's about that manifest destiny bullshit. This Christian bullshit that white people are better than everybody. That's where Donald Trump mindset is. And to be honest with you, that qualifies him to be removed as president under the 25th Amendment. But I'm not even going to go there because that type of thinking is fucking crazy. When you are running a goddamn country, he is disqualified to run a goddamn country with that mentality. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I am not a politician. I don't have any power, but I'm telling you, because he's putting citizens in harm's way with that mentality, he is disqualified to be president. So let's get back to the revolution or whatever the fuck, a civil war. That's what I was trying to think of. Let's get back to the Civil War. They was talking about the Civil War and they was promoting the Civil War. I think I even heard Sarge and ABC saying that they were going to be a damn Civil War, right? But nobody on this side, because we got common sense and we kind of rely on the damn system, the damn work. Nobody on this side really was saying that they're going to go to Civil War. But what has white people been doing? White people has been storing ammo. They've been storing weapons. They've been building bunkers. They've been building. They've been doing the prepping and getting ready for a disaster. Now they've been preparing for this Civil War for decades, right? And that type of mentality has seeped its way into the White House. So instead of it being black people. Let me try to say that easily. Instead of them targeting black people to kick this thing off like they thought they could, right? You remember Donald Trump's first administration where he had this policy that was out in the FBI where the black identity extremists, right? They had chose black people as a target in his first administration, and they just knew that whatever the fuck they was going to do toward black people, it would probably piss enough people off to cause them to call out the military on them and call martial law and all this kind of bullshit, right? That they labeled our community, anybody that was supporting black people, talking about black people, promoting black people, the FBI looked at us as black identity extremists. I know y'all kind of remember that. You probably forgot about it, but I didn't, damn it. That was all under Trump's term. And let me just prove my point right quick. Hold on. Whew, y'all know me. I use the Google machine. So Donald Trump's first administration was from 2017 to what, 2021, right? And then when you Google black identity extremists, you can see it says in the United States, black identity extremists was identified by the FBI from August 27 to July 19. That's Donald Trump's first administration. They was targeting black people. It first appeared in a data report, August 3rd, 2017, sent tens of thousands of American police departments to describe safety concerns about alleged violent African American activists. So when the BLM, well, that BLM was after this, But whenever the black people was ramping up about the police violence in this country and the police murders, the genocide of black people from this government in this country, and before that, before they even came into office, because this plan was already implemented, these people had already targeted black people to start off their fucking civil war. They knew black people was going to fight back, but black people has learned through the years that that's just not the way to do things. Don't nobody want to go out there and take a bullet for some bullshit that ain't gonna change shit, right? We had a couple of brave young souls. I can't even think of their name now that actually did do that. I remember Chris Dorner, and I remember that guy in Texas that they sent the robot in on. But there was some people that were bold enough to actually try to take on the whole system, right? But you look where they at now. They're dead. You know that's what happens to them. If you get somebody rising up, just like J. Edgar Hoover said, they was trying to prevent a black messiah. But when you get somebody rising up, they're gonna stamp that out quick. And black people learn quick, so that didn't work. That didn't work. They didn't enrage or black people enough to where black people started tearing down this country, right? It just didn't happen. So what was the next soft target? The next target was anybody else that wasn't white, right? That was the next target. Donald Trump with his Muslim ban. Fox News constantly talking about how immigrants is tearing down the damn country. And they knew that they cannot deport our black asses. What can they do to us? The only thing they can do to us is some shit that we already went through. Oppression, deny resources, give us low-paying jobs, go in our communities and police our people, contaminate our communities with fucking environmental shit, right? That's what the fuck we've always went through. The pay wage between black and white Americans, the resources, it's always been terrible. So what were they gonna do? More of that? No. So they see whatever the fuck they was doing to black people wasn't having the kind of effect that they wanted it to have to kick off this civil war. So now Stephen Miller and Donald Trump and whatever other racists was saying, okay, well, let's target these damn Mexicans. Let's target these damn Haitians. Let's target these damn Cubans, right? Hell, they are genetically prone to be fucking temperamental any goddamn way. I might sound racist there, but it's the goddamn truth. You ever talk to a damn Puerto Rican for more than 5 minutes, that motherfucker start yelling quick as shit. It's funny. You know, they don't mean no harm. That's just in their damn nature. But they say, let's target these brown people. And that's what you're witnessing now. And then this country had already set up a formula for them with these sanctuary cities. They gave them somewhere to target, and then legitimize whatever they're doing to their white supporting base. And not only to their white supporting base, some people on the other side actually support Donald Trump kicking the migrants out of the country. Why do you think they do? Well, because we've been told they're taking our jobs. They're receiving social programs and social benefits, and it's money that is going to the Mexicans, and they're sending it home. And all that. That's why, you know, the message is sticking. Because in the back of the mind of a lot of Americans, they really want the Mexicans out of here. They want the foreigners out of here. That's the truth. People can say whatever the fuck they want to say, but they believe that bullshit about they taking our jobs and all this kind of bullshit, and they're taking our resources, and that's the reason America needs to get rid of these people to save the fucking budget. Well, that's a damn lie. That's a lie. I say over and over again, America got so much damn money. So much money flow through America that the percentage that if they were paying every goddamn Mexican that came to this country, it still wouldn't fuck with them. America got so much money they could pay at least every black people in this, every black man, woman, and motherfucking child that is a slave descendant. I guarantee you they can give each one of us $2 billion motherfucking dollars a piece, and they still wouldn't be broke. I guarantee it. I showed you that graph of how much money Elon Musk has, right? Compared to other people, right? $6 billion. That is pocket change when it comes to how much money the government actually has. Now, he got 600 billion. Can you imagine how much money the fucking American government takes in? But we've been programmed to believe about this debt and deficit, and we need to make sure that they have all the money. That's a fucking lie. America needs to stand up and realize they're lying to you about the fucking resources that they have. And some of these resources that we give to the government needs to go back to the goddamn people, to keep people from dying, to keep people from starving, to keep kids from being hungry, to get the homeless off the goddamn street. But these motherfuckers are so selfish, even Democrats and Republicans. Because we don't never hear the Democrats saying, hey, you know what? We lying about this goddamn money and they can afford it. Some people do. You heard Bernie Sanders sometimes come out there and say it. Maybe AOC or every once in a while, Hakeem Jeffries. I don't never hear him talking about budget though. But the point that I'm trying to make is America is lying to the people, and they've got us to believe that somehow or another they're financially suffering as a fucking country that collects taxes on every motherfucking thing daily, by the second, every minute. These motherfuckers are collecting money. They're collecting money from you guys right now and me, because I'm on an internet service provider. You're on your fucking cell phone, you're on your computer, and we have to pay those bills that has taxes. You're going to get gas, you're going to go get food, all of this shit, you pay taxes every time. And on top of that, they're going to take it out of your fucking paycheck. Can you just imagine how much money is going to the government every motherfucking minute? And they're talking about they're broke. They're talking about the rich, the top 1% needs a fucking tax break or tax cut. That's a fucking lie. Donald Trump is trying to get even with Elon Musk's finances, which I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But if he take control of the government finances like he's been doing, if he go ahead and raid Social Security, raid Medicaid and Medicare, if he keeps shutting down these organizations that we know that our tax monies are going to, like the USAID, like the CDC, then that money got to go somewhere, and he's going to collect it. You're talking about billions of dollars going to these organizations that he's shutting down. It's not like we're going to have a damn surplus. You see how he's manipulating the damn stock market so him and his buddies can get rich? It's not about this country with Donald Trump. It's about dividing fucking the people of this country, sowing division and hate. Which brings me back to this fucking civil war that they fantasize about. So they target the brown people and they start fucking putting them on planes. You see, they didn't originally start with the damn Mexicans, right? Because they had to test the damn waters. They sent the Venezuelans to El Salvador, right? They had to test the water. They had to see how far they can goddamn reach. And when nobody didn't say nothing, they loaded up another goddamn plane. Sent more motherfuckers. And then not enough pushback. So now they're targeting Mexicans and Hispanics and anybody that is a migrant. Now, what they are expecting to do, I believe, what they are expecting to do. Well, see here, I just Googled this right here, and this is just a headline I just found, so I'm not making this up. Let me just do this right quick. This is what dated to today, June the 12th. The headline says Trump administration tells immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela they have to leave. So they're going to do this shit until somebody gets mad enough and come together and say, "Hey, we're going to fight back." So one of these damn countries or one of these people is going to be stupid enough to pick up their damn weapons and fight back. Somebody's going to do that, right? And that's what they're wanting. That's what they're trying to promote. They're trying to promote a pushback because this whole thing with the military occupation of LA was escalated, created by the Trump administration. They did that illegally because Governor Newsom did not request federal assistance. That's his state. Illegally, the government is occupying California illegally because before the National Guard get federalized, then they have to talk to the government because the National Guard belongs to the goddamn state and not the fucking federal. They just do. Sarge was in the National Guard. He can tell you that. So they escalating by federalizing the National Guard, and then they put fucking Marines, military fucking people, either on standby or they told them to go to LA. I can't remember what happened with the damn Marines, but that is unfucking heard of. Our military, what I did, what all the soldiers in the United States of America, soldiers, Air Force, Marines, probably except for the Coast Guard, what we are here for is to fight foreign fucking wars. That's why we're here. We're not here to fight Americans. That has never been the goddamn case. The only time I think that American soldiers fought Americans was in the goddamn Civil War. When those fucking racists tried to turn this whole goddamn country into a slave goddamn nation. And they fucking lost. The South fucking lost. So whenever they're talking about activating Marines or active duty military, people need to fucking listen. This is not even a joke no goddamn more. I titled the show, It Won't Be Long Now Before It's All Over, because I've been slowly warning people about what the hell I see is happening in this administration. They're trying to provoke people into this damn civil war. They're trying to escalate the situation so they would have the authority to enact martial law. And if martial law is enacted, then the president and his administration has all the power. You ain't got to worry about the states no more. They can dictate what the fuck you watch, where the fuck you go, what time you come home. That's what martial law is. What the hell is being said? They can Talk Real Solutions, motherfucker. If you say anything negative about Trump again, we're going to lock your ass up or we're going to put you on the firing squad. That's what the fuck martial law is. And I think that's where they're trying to go. I really do, because there was no reason It says martial law is a temporary replacement of a civilian authority by military rule during a crisis. Typically, when a civilian government fails to maintain order to protect the public, it involves the suspension of normal laws and processes, with the military tribunal handling the legal matter. And in the United States, the power declared by martial law can be exercised by the president or a governor, but it's limited and contested power. Okay, so that's exactly what I was just saying. Is that because Donald Trump is in charge of the military and he wants everybody to be loyal to him, including the goddamn military, if martial law is enacted, that's going to make him the goddamn supreme ruler because he's in charge of the goddamn military. That's what's going to happen. So now what that means for you and I in a country with a working democracy in 2025, what that means for us, I don't know. I really don't know. I can only imagine by looking at the trends of what's going on that people are going to bend the knee. People are going to follow along. The media is going to follow along. And we ain't going to have no other choice but to listen. We ain't going. What the fuck is you and I? What the hell is Tyrone going to do? What the hell is East Coast going to do if martial law is initiated? We can quietly complain about it. What the fuck we gonna do? And the problem is, you got idiots like the ones in my goddamn chat room, Sarge E7 and AABBCD 191419 or whatever the fuck that means. They're so stupid that they don't realize what the fuck is going on. They've been programmed over the years to argue against tyranny, to argue against the revocation of free speech. They've been arguing against authoritarian. They've been arguing against all of this shit that we see right now. But they so damn stupid because they've been programmed to demonize the other side that they don't realize that the fucking table has been reversed on their stupid asses, and they're actually implementing the things that they had argued against. They're just dumb. Now, tonight, because I asked Sarge last week about Taco, if Sarge calls in, I want you to hear him fucking flail and flip and bend over fucking backwards and contort himself in defending active duty military being deployed in the United States of America. Because this motherfucker is going to defend it, even though I think that he knows better. Because he's so fucking programmed that he's not going to be honest whenever he speaks and say that that's against the law. That is not supposed to happen in this goddamn country. He's going to contort himself into supporting Donald Trump's invasion of California. Not talking to the governor. Because Sarge has been programmed to believe that because California's governor is a Democrat, that somehow or another he shouldn't be listened to. He's still a fucking governor. They've been programmed to believe that somehow the left viewpoint or the Democrats' viewpoint don't matter. This is a two-party motherfucking government. But they so stupid that they just ignore the entire time they've been in America, living in this country, and how it's been functioning ever since they've been breathing in this motherfucker, because they've been indoctrinated into a cult. They just ignore the normal ways of things. I don't know what the fuck happens. And then at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, I'm gonna keep calling it Fort Liberty. If y'all don't know, Fort Bragg was renamed Fort Liberty, and these racist motherfuckers got into office and named it Fort Bragg again. They was getting rid of the names of Confederate motherfucking goddamn generals. And then somehow, you let me look it up before I lie, because y'all know me. I get shit wrong a lot, so I want to make sure that I get this right. Yeah, that's what it said. I ain't crazy. It says Fort Bragg, North Carolina was renamed Fort Liberty in 2023, but it was renamed back to Fort Bragg in February 2025. The base was initially named after Confederate General Braxton Bragg. And in 2023, it was renamed in accordance with the National Defense Authority Act to remove the Confederate general name from the military installations. The base was renamed Fort Bragg in February 20, not to honor General Braxton Bragg, but to honor Private First Class Roland L. Bragg, a World War II hero. So these motherfuckers are so goddamn petty and racist that they're going to rename the goddamn military base back to the goddamn Confederate general name and then say, no, we're naming it after the Confederate general. We're naming it after this enlisted person named Roland L. Bragg. Get the fuck out of here. You renamed it Fort Bragg. You racist pieces of shit. This is how you know that they racist. Oh, I didn't put it up there so y'all can see that. But it should be there now. But this is how fucking racist they are. And they won't acknowledge the racism. Why the fuck would you try to promote a Confederate general, a fucking traitor to the United States of America? They lost the motherfucking war against the United States of America. They're the enemy. This is why Sarge is a goddamn traitor. This is why ABC be committing treason, because they are supporting the goddamn Confederate. And the Confederate was 100% against America. They took fucking muskets and bullets and shot at these motherfucking American soldiers. So anyway, this civil war that's supposed to goddamn kick off, and I think that's what Donald Trump is trying to invoke, starting in LA, and targeting sanctuary cities. And he's getting sympathy from his base and some other people because they're targeting brown people, right? And the sad thing about this is there's been news reports where legal people that are here in this country have been wrapped up and taken up by ICE and put into their holding cells. And these motherfuckers ain't saying shit against it. See, this is what I'm saying. Is this motherfucker is so programmed. The Democrats are not trying to hide the story of their Confederate Party by renaming the military. What the fuck are you talking? See, this guy's retarded. I love it. Ha. LOL. Democrats just want to rewrite history. Bitch, ain't nobody rewriting history but Donald Trump. Evidence number one is January the 6th was a goddamn insurrection in this country. That is the actual history. Donald Trump is rewriting the history by calling them fucking peaceful people and patriots. And he fucking pardoned them. You dumb son of a bitch. He is rewriting history. At least acknowledge that, you fucking idiot. At least acknowledge the fucking violence that went on January the 6th. I ain't got to sit up here and make this shit up. They got pictures and videos. They got pictures and videos. And there is no way in the fuck that you can't say that these violent images of the people that you support waving not the American flag, but the Trump flag, aren't of the mindset of people that will rewrite fucking history. You always project whenever you insult. Whatever you're insulting people for, that's actually what you're guilty of. That's the entire Trump administration. They accuse the other administrations of weaponizing the government. What the fuck did they do? They weaponized the government. As a matter of fact, there was a California congressman that got fucking beat up today. Let me see if I can find this person. There was a Democrat. Yeah, right here. Here's I'm not making this shit up. This is who weaponizing the goddamn government. This is, if the time don't block me out of the article. It's a Democratic senator, and this is dated today. Democratic senator slammed to the ground and handcuffed at Kristi Noem's event in LA. It says Senator Alex Padilla of California was forcibly removed and handcuffed after interrupting a press conference held by the Homeland Security Kristi Noem on Thursday. In a startling episode that deepened partisan tensions over the Trump administration expansion of the immigration enforcement efforts in Los Angeles. So let's see. Oh, here it is right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this the congressman that the Trump administration is pushing out of the... Watch him. I ain't making this shit up. This is who's weaponizing the fucking goddamn government. This is a fucking sitting congressman. Look at how they're handling this man. Watch him. This is not a protester. This is a... Look. They throw his ass on the floor and lock his ass. This is crazy. You can't tell me that these motherfuckers ain't weaponizing the goddamn government. But Sarge and ABC and others of their ilk are so goddamn stupid and brainwashed, and they yelled against tyranny and tyrannical governments. You literally got the military sent to a city on behest of the federal government, shooting motherfuckers with rubber bullets. They did that too. They shot a goddamn reporter. They shot a damn reporter with a goddamn rubber bullet. And she won't nowhere near the protest. That was a couple of days ago. Okay, so here's this thing. Let's see if we can show y'all this.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
They just shot that lady with a rubber bullet. The protest is on the other side. Watch this cop right here where my mouse is. Take aim, not in the direction of the protesters, but actually at that reporter right here in this area. Watch this guy pick up his goddamn weapon and shoot this damn woman. That is nuts. You can't tell me that these motherfuckers are not weaponizing the damn government. They arresting fucking Congress people. They shooting reporters. I don't know what the fuck else to say. But you will not hear. Look at ABC. You're stupid. See, this is what this motherfucker said. That Padilla was charging the podium. Why the fuck would a congressman charge the podium? The only thing that Padilla was doing was utilizing his right to free speech. That was it. He wasn't charging no goddamn podium. But these motherfuckers come up with these goddamn pull up the video, nigga. I just played the damn video, nigga. Pay attention. I'm moving kind of fast here. I know you kind of slow. I just played the goddamn video. But like I said, oh shit. Let me open these lines. I didn't see y'all over here. So let me just wrap this up. Because I think it's important. And then, you know, like I said, I have my own opinions, and I'm not saying I'm right all the time. But if you look at what's going on in this country, if you look at the unprovoked escalation of the violence in Los Angeles, if you look at them deporting brown people, if you look at the headline that I just showed you about the Trump administration targeting Cubans, Haitians, and other brown people, yeah, right here, Cubans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and Haitians, I'm not far off from what's actually about to go down. So if it's escalated enough, then these people are going to try to enact martial law. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And look at the renaming of Fort Bragg. Look at, I mean, it's just so much that's going on that I don't even try to keep track of it. And I just give you guys what I see for the first 2 seconds of a day before I get out the house, because I can't watch this shit. I just can't. I mean, I will listen to, I don't know, maybe like a 12-minute video or a 5-minute video of some shit, and then I'll move on. I can't sit around and watch what the results might be, because I know what the results is going to be. They're always going to bend to Donald Trump's will. That's what's going to happen. He's getting away with so goddamn much that people are, for some reason, afraid to challenge him. And they're letting him get away with more. They let him get away with the first impeachment. They let him get away with the second impeachment. They let him get away with the crimes that he committed. They let him get away with the fraud. They let him get away with the Stormy Daniels bullshit. They just letting him get away with so goddamn much that there ain't nothing. There is nothing that this man will not do. And now he's challenged, and he's been challenging the Constitution of the United States of America. And they letting him get away with it. They letting him break the fucking laws. So if the trend continues down this path, then he gonna get away with whatever the fuck he want to get away with. Nobody's being held accountable in this administration. All right.
I follow that, Tyrone.
Hey, what's up, East Coast?
Yeah, I follow your line of thought, logic, and it's right on target. You've been on this earth long enough. You said you served in the military, and you've experienced things. Mm-hmm. So through your experiences, you're confident in what you're talking about.
Right.
And what happened today, you know, I was watching that a sitting. So first they arrested a mayor, then they arrested a congresswoman. They dropped the charges on the black mayor in New Jersey. The congresswoman, they're still trying to press her. And now we've stepped it up all the way to a senator. So I guess as a governor, Newsom said, come get me, come arrest me. That's what he told Trump. And so we watched it. That congressman, that Senator Padilla was walking up toward to ask the question. That's what I understand, Tyrone. He was trying to ask the question.
But ABC said he charged the podium.
Well, he walked toward the front to be recognized. And he's part of that oversight committee over what she does. So, and she was there, and she let this all go down, Tyrone. And she was a sitting congresswoman. So there's no respect. None. And
no.
And Karen Bass, the Democrats are punching back now, Tyrone, is coming from the West Coast. Newsom, every time they say something negative, I've listened to some clips, and he shoots them back. He doesn't wait the next day. It's immediate. He'll respond to X or whatever. And today I watched Karen Bass in action. she had a press conference, called them out, and then called Kristi Noem out. She said, I served with her for 10 years, but I don't know this Kristi Noem. That's what she did. She embarrassed her, told her that she didn't know her. And so they are doing what they can do. And I guess Newsom, and then they're showing out in, the Democrats are showing out in Congress. I've seen some congressional things today where some governors were fighting back with Nance and was it Buddy Romer that went out of Kentucky. He heads one of those committees.
Yeah.
And it was just chaotic. So no, they're not biting their tongue anymore. But that should be a signal. If they can take a congressman down like that, a mayor, a congresswoman, and then a senator, what chances do you
so what
run?
should have happened when what should have happened after that? And I ain't mean to cut you off, but every one of those police officers that tackle that man to the floor should be held accountable. They ain't gonna fuck with Kristi Noem.
No, they ain't. They ain't gonna mess. They ain't gonna mess with them either.
They should fire every one of those goddamn police officers that did that
It's
to
not
that
gonna
Congress.
happen.
That's what
Not
should
in this
happen.
current environment.
If it was a Republican, that's what they would do.
And Tyrone, Saturday, did you know the veterans had a protest last week? They were in D.C. I didn't see it in any media.
I
saw it
didn't
on
know.
the internet. There were thousands of them up in D.C. and they were in the mall and they were speaking out. Some were working the Veterans Administration. I don't know if C-SPAN covered it or not, but yeah, they were there and they were protesting how they were treating the veterans. They were talking about all the veteran programs. I'll find it. I'll let you know so you can check it out. And they had a line of speakers, nurses from the VA. She said, when you take the people away that clean the rooms and stuff, who does that leave? That leaves the doctors and the nurses to do that. And they're seeing patients. And she went down that line. And
Right.
to the guy, so they had that. And now Friday or Saturday, we're going to have here in the DC area, the tanks and everything going to be rolling out. And that reminds me of what you see in Russia. And we're broke. They say we're overspending. Now we're spending millions of dollars on this parade for what?
That's why I say it's a lie.
It
Talking about how broke we
doesn't
is.
make any sense. And then the bases, you can go to different places. They have air shows, during 4th of July, open house. They do all that kind of stuff. So why do we need to do that here?
Because we have a
in the nation's
dictator in
capital?
Washington. That's why. That's exactly why.
And here's something else I heard. This is your area. I don't know if it was Camp Lejeune or Fort Bragg. It was reported, so I haven't been able to follow up on it. But Trump is politicizing the military now. So this is what they're doing. They said they had some person that is selling Trump type stuff, and he's asking them questions. If they support him, they get to volunteer. So he's getting that camaraderie of identifying with the troops in a way that he's politicizing it now.
I seen a little bit of news on that when Trump was at Fort Bragg and he had the soldiers booing.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
And cheering for whatever, I heard that they picked and chose the soldiers who was going to attend the Trump rally. And they told the soldiers that if you don't want to go, you don't want to go. What that means is he chose out of the military people who support him. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of soldiers that don't agree with him, but it looked bad for the military because you got them on there hooting and hollering at this fucking fascist. And that's just not good. And then when you talk about the veterans, protesting and all that kind of stuff, that's good. And I'm glad that they are. But the thing about the veterans is that we're a divided group. You got a lot of people, a lot of veterans that is so goddamn stupid that they support Donald Trump. They do. Most of them people on January the 6th was veterans. They would,
Yeah. Right. And they booed Trump at the Kennedy Center the other night when he came out. So he's not getting much love. And there was a poll. He's not doing well in the polls. They've said that the Congress wants to cut that Medicaid out. So they're not. It doesn't seem like they're going to agree to that. What is it, $800 billion? So what does that do to the bill? we remember we always said, Tyrone, they're good at elections, but terrible at running the country, and it's all proven out. And I think when they I have a resource for you, Tyrone.
Okay.
This is it's called it's niskencenter.org. It's the Project 2025 unveiling the far right's plan to demolish immigration in a second term.
You said NISKEN?
Yes. Nisken, NISKANEN.
KANEN.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Center.org. So with .org is probably legitimate. And they break it down. So you know how Project 2025, but the section on this immigration, it talks about how they're going to demolish it in the second term. They even have key takeaways. They break down the H2A and H2B visa program. They said they haven't updated that, so that they may be eliminating that program. And that's how a lot of them get over here. And so it's going to affect a lot of areas. They're talking about the schools, and this particular document does a excellent job of breaking it down, over that. And then I have another one for you. It's called, and this for everybody out there, when you want to talk about the 10th Amendment, it's called Find Law, constitution.findlaw.com. And it breaks down
I use Find
the 10th
Law.
Amendment. Yeah. And so they talk about that 10th Amendment and what's reserved powers. And it spells it out. So it's a good, and it covers a lot of cases.
Well, that NISKANEN.org, that ain't working for me.
It's not? Oh, no. Wow. Yeah.
And Brother Joshua, I'm going to get to you in a second.
encenter.org. Yeah.
It said NISKANEN.
Center.
Center. Okay. I didn't put center in there. But Brother Joshua, what's happening, man?
When y'all was talking, I was laughing about something. So, but anyway, yeah, man. This
okay, I got it.
This guy, man. I saw that. I thought I had put that in the chat room with Padilla getting roughed up and sent to the goddamn ground. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought they said Padilla was a senator. Is he a senator or is he in Congress?
He's a senator. He was that one that got picked up. Yeah, he's a senator.
Yeah, he's a senator, right? So that to me is real unusual that they would take that type of action against a senator. I mean, it wasn't like he was doing anything criminal. He didn't do nothing criminal. He was just trying to state his position. And
Joshua, he's on the oversight committee. Sorry, Joshua.
Right,
he's on the oversight committee over Homeland Security. That's his job.
Right. So it's what I felt. That's like, man, that's unusual. But these folks, man, they're doing everything possible to give this devil a third term, a second term. I mean, they're trying to enact something so he can enact a law to keep him within that damn office. It's something else, Tyrone, I think that we should be concerned. Now, this is something that black people should be concerned. Now we're already concerned because it's totally just erased on history. You got some of these Negroes on TRS. That don't bother them. See, that don't bother these motherfuckers. That they are erasing your history. Now, we got motherfuckers on here that don't like their history either. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we got that too. But it's something else that we should be really concerned about, and that's habeas corpus. They're going after that as well. So that's going to be a big thing right there. Habeas corpus. And basically what that does, that gives the government the right, or the president, the right just to come in and shut you down without any law enforcement. They can just come and do it. They can take you to jail. They won't see you again. Your parents won't see you again. Your sister won't see you again. Or nothing like that. I'm saying they can act. They're trying to get a hold of that. There's been like 3 presidents that have tried to get rid of that habeas corpus. But habeas corpus restricts them and makes them make sure that you actually give people human rights to a point. You see? So that's what habeas corpus is supposed to be. But they're trying to get rid of that. So that's something that we should be kind of, as black people, really concerned about, because we got to rethink the Dred Scott situation. We got to rethink this ideal of liberty and freedom. What does that mean for black people? I keep telling y'all, if these motherfuckers get to have it the way they want to have it, and I said this on that damn ABC show some months ago, and him and Alma told me, "Oh, they could never do that. The world looking at them, they would never try to bring back slavery." I said, "You motherfuckers are out of your mind." So habeas corpus is something that we might be want to be concerned about, because then they can literally just wrap us up and put black people inside of a damn concentration camp, and nobody can do nothing about it. Again, because we're not prepared to fight mental solutions, because that motherfucker ain't going to not shoot not one bullet. Yeah, I don't really need to shoot the bullet. He's not going to shoot no goddamn bullets at all. You see, so I'm saying that these folks, they're getting geared up. They're trying to do what they do, man. But that's something that, Tyrone, that we should really be concerned about, is this habeas corpus. If they can get what they want out of that and get rid of that, it's a done deal, bro.
Well, that's we was highlighting. We was highlighting the habeas corpus with Abrigo Garcia, whenever they took him out of the country because he wasn't allowed due process, and like you said, that's basically them not allowing you to go to court, them just snatching you up, doing whatever they want to without you going through the legal system. Mm-hmm. And like I said, they do in test cases. They did Abrigo Garcia because he was a migrant and people didn't give a fuck about him. So they people didn't say nothing about the due process. But if they finally got him back to the country, Sarge, when y'all said that he won't come back to the country, and they trumped up some damn charges on him, which is illegal. These people, oh my goodness, these people.
Well, Tyrone, but this is a wake up call for Latinos, especially in California and Florida, particularly Florida, because Florida is always known to be, they generally vote conservative. The Cubans, they generally vote conservative, and we don't know why. They always vote conservative. So this is a wake-up call for them, and it's a wake-up call for Mexicans in California. Okay, so there's a wake-up call for them to say, "See, y'all, that's what black folks been trying to get you to understand for a long time, but y'all wouldn't listen to it because they were too busy trying to
they are a victim. They are a victim of what I was talking about earlier too, because white people told them that black people are bad. Don't never side with black people. Whatever you do, we got your best interest at heart. They believe that to their core. They believe that Jesus is white. They believe that somehow or another, they believe all of that shit. So that's why, I don't have any sympathy at this point for these Hispanics that are getting kicked out of the country. And I know that sounds bad. And I hope that black people don't fold and join this damn fight with these damn. I hope they don't. Because the exit polls show who the fuck they voted for, and they voted for this shit.
Right, and Tyrone, you and I, and a couple other people, we had debate about this years ago on TRS. I think was it Blog Talk then? I think when it was Blog Talk, we had a debate, and you was kind of like, you was kind of a little more sympathizer with them But once you, now you see where we was coming from at the time, especially me, because believe me, I spent my years in California with them jokers.
Mm-hmm.
And arbitrarily, let me get something cleared up first. Arbitrarily, I have nothing against them. But they're great people. But they are. They really are. But they have an issue, like you say, with whiteness. Even inside the prisons, Tyrone, they side with the Aryan nation to fight black people, to fight the other black gangs in the prison. They side with the Aryan nation. They side with white groups like that. See, in California, when they had the black and brown thing that was going on, they was firebombing black people's homes in California. See, so this is a wake-up call for, say, black folks saying, see, y'all, we told you. And now the Mexicans, some of them are even mad at black people because black people are not out there. And black people said, no, we're not giving no, this is your thing, your business. Y'all don't need
for
us.
personal safety, Joshua. We said don't go out there, and you saw the rubber bullets. Now think if it was a bunch of black folk out there protesting.
Man, they would have been shot somebody.
Rubber bullets?
Yeah, I mean, they would have been fucking fucked somebody up if they was black.
Well,
let me see who this.
The black police officer Tyrone, the Mexican was calling him the N-word and all that stuff, and said, "Why are you even out here, nigger?"
Yeah, I seen that.
So it's like, so it's like, so Mexicans are probably told those other Mexicans, jackasses, shut up, shut your mouth.
Well, I looked at that. I looked at that video a different. Let me see who this caller is first. Who's this unknown caller?
Miss Lady, hello.
Hey, Miss Lady. Let me say this right quick. I looked at that video a little different, Joshua, and I could be wrong, but when the way those Mexican people was talking to that police officer, to me it didn't sound like they was saying the N-word with the hard ER on it. It sounded like they was using it as slang, like we use it, right? And the reason that I'm saying that, and that's wrong too, because that's been allowed in this country for people who's brown to actually use that word. Just like we use it, and they shouldn't be allowed to do it. But that's just my interpretation.
But yeah, man. So there's a lot that's going on, man. And like I said, man, we are that habeas corpus. That's something that black people should really be concerned about, and including the coon-coons. Coon-coons out there, you coon-coons, wake up. Because they don't give a fuck up about your house, your wife, your black family, none of that shit. They don't give a shit about that. They don't coon-coons, okay? And the coon-coons know who I'm talking about. Coon-coon 1, 2, and there's a third one. And there might even be a fourth one somewhere. But I'm saying coon-coons. All right? They think they keep playing with you. Coons. That's what I gotta say, Tyrone.
All right. Hey, what's up, Miss Lady?
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was funny. She called them coons. Anyway, okay, I just want to say, allegedly, Israel just struck Iran. They went after a building where they had, I guess, their military officials or maybe government officials, and they also struck some high-rise buildings. And I think Iran has retaliated and struck Israel back. And allegedly they were supposed to go and have some more talks, Iran with Donald Trump on Sunday. So this just happened, I think within the past half an hour.
Wow.
Secondly, the Cubans, they have that Cuban Adjustment Act, or CCA, of 1966, where they were granted special immigration status. And I'm just reading, it allowed them who have been physically present in the United States for at least a year to apply for a lawful permanent residence or a green card. And I don't think any other group had that. And I think they were granted that because of, Cuba, and Fidel Castro. And remember, I don't think it applies now, but at one point, As long as they touched the sand, remember they were in those rickety boats and floating in the ocean, trying to touch the sand. And if they touched the sand in Florida, they could fall up under a special immigration status. Because I remember years ago I saw them trying to get to the beach to touch the sand, and you had, I don't know if they were immigration officials, police, whatever, they were out there trying to tackle them and stop them from touching the sand. But anyway, in terms of colorism and whiteness is a privilege, it seems like worldwide. And it's been set up to be that way. And so all of these countries with brown-skinned people, and even Asian countries, they view whiteness as better. And, you know, you go back like into like China and Korea, I mean, I'm talking like centuries ago, they valued white skin because that showed that you were part of the labor, peasant, slave caste classification of people. You know, you were elite. So they were always putting that white powder on their faces. Now, and this now, bleaching of the skin is a huge industry, like in India and the Philippines and Korea and parts, because it really can have an effect on one's life. It could make the difference between if you're going to be accepted by employers, if you're going to be hired, you know, the kind of person you can marry, if you can move up in status. I mean, they have rigid classifications of people. And it's really, there was an Indian woman talking, and she had beautiful brown skin. She was a very attractive woman. She had such a hard time, and she was educated, getting work in her field. She went ahead and bleached out her skin because you have to put your picture on a lot of your applications or upload your picture now. Like in Korea, in parts, you know, I know that is because they talk about it. So that's why plastic surgery has taken off. That's why all the skin bleaching, and they do it from, you know, skincare products you put on, but they also do it from medications. I mean, including pills and intravenous medications. I mean, it's really, and even here, you look at some of these entertainers, they're so much lighter than they were when they first started. They've been bleached out too, men and women. And so that's a huge industry, but it can really make a difference in one's life, they say. And I think that's what, so then now you attach the potential to become, you know, have a nice life versus a life of struggle and rejection. It's really sad. I mean, they really monetize this colorism.
Oh yeah. The Asian had it so bad that they was I don't know if it was the Chinese or the Japanese. I think it was the Chinese. They was doing eyelid surgery to make their eyes wider.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do double eyelids, and they really open up their eyes. Some of their eyeballs are big too. I watch Asian, they call them C-dramas. They're like, you know, they have a bunch of different episodes, and I watch them. And the K-dramas or the Korean dramas, and you can see some of the actors I really like when they don't bother their eyes. It's really part of their character. It's part of who they are, and it's really nice. But then you can tell they have monolid surgery, or they do just one part of your eyelid, and then some have double eyelid surgery where they open up their eyes real wide, and that always looks very strange. It's not attractive.
Well, they're still
me.
trying to be white, because they always said Americans had round eyes and stuff. And even if you look at their anime cartoons, every one of their animes got big eyes. and that's so rooted in their culture that we haven't paid attention why they draw their cartoons like that. But they don't draw their cartoons with, quote unquote slanted eyes. They always have big round eyes.
Unless it's like an evil person, the mean, evil, devious person.
Right.
Yeah. But if you look at some of these actors and actresses that have had double eyelid surgery, a lot of times it looks horrible. Their eyeballs look huge. They're like their eyeball itself, and it just looks weird. Like these big eyeballs in your face.
Yeah, I think they should embrace it.
Tyrone,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say that it's. I met a young lady. She was Chinese, and one time me and her just got together. We went out for something for Starbucks. I got some tea and she got some coffee. We were talking, and that was the conversation that me and her had. Was her eye, and I told her, "Your eyes are beautiful. Keep them the way they are." And she looked. She said, "Oh." She said, "Well, people are used to the other eye." And she said, if you know what I'm talking about. I said, "No, we're not used to the other eye because there are some black folks that got slanted eyes too." And I said, "No." I said, "Your eyes are beautiful just the way they are." She said, "Okay." She said, and I said, "This thing called white supremacy is real." And she looked at me. She said, "Yeah, I see. Because since I've been to this country, she's starting to see things. Things are not what they told her. They're not that." So I think she began to kind of see things like, "Oh, really?" And so, but yeah, so that's kind of interesting. And she's not the first to tell me that about the eye and how, especially Asian women, how they get these surgeries where they're widening the eye. I said, and I told her, I said, "That slanted eye," I said, to me, that's seductive. And she started laughing. I said, "Yeah, that looks seductive, yeah." And, especially when you look a certain way, look at people a certain way. It looks, and she was very happy that someone recognized the fact that there was beauty in her eye. And so, but yeah, man, that's a big thing. But it's a big thing, but I guarantee you, in China, you better not do that in China. I guarantee you better not do that in China.
Well, no, the China got this problem with trying to be white too. But I get what you're saying about how strict China is.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So it's pretty interesting stuff. It really is, man. It really is.
Yeah, because if you just look at the heads of governments now, instead of their traditional garb, all of them wear suits that Americans started that fashion,
Mm-hmm.
But that's a problem with societies worldwide, is that they always think the European or the white man is correct, and then they think they're correct so much is that we start repeating that bullshit,
Yeah.
And it's so far spread that you can't tell what you're intaking and what you're not intaking, and sometimes we just that's what's going on in LA right now. Is that the reason that so many people are silent right now is because they think that it's right to get rid of brown people out of this damn country. There's a lot of Americans believe that.
Yeah. But yeah, man. But it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot that's happening, and it didn't surprise me that LA would go up like that. Where that didn't surprise me. That didn't surprise me at all. When I saw that, I said, "Oh crap!" I said, "I knew this was going to happen." Well, I knew eventually, boys, that they were going to start, fight back. And that cop that shot the reporter, Tyrone, I think he did it on purpose, man. I really do.
You could see that he did it on purpose because the protester was on the other side, and he turned in the direction of the damn camera, and he shot that rubber bullet.
Yeah, and I think he was shooting at necessarily not the reporter, but the guy that was filming. Because remember, he had his phone out, he was filming. talking
He
to her.
shouldn't have done it anyway.
No.
He was wrong. They need to be arrested him, and he needs to be charged with assault or whatever else, and they need to sue him.
Yeah, see
There
that
was
should
an
be headline
attorney
news.
that was shot.
That should be headline news.
Oh,
He should be fired and held accountable for abusing his power like that.
Mm-hmm.
and there was allegedly an attorney that was 3 feet away from an officer down in L.A. asking him for his badge number over and over, and he told him, "You better get back." And he said, "Why? I'm just asking for your badge number." He shot him. He
I
shot the
think I
attorney.
seen that one too. I seen that one too.
Oh, Ananda Lewis passed away from cancer.
Who?
Ananda Lewis. You remember she was that real pretty. She was like a hostess of a lot of shows, like
know
black
that name.
shows. Yeah, she was beautiful. She had breast cancer and she didn't want a double mastectomy, and I guess, she died. And she was young too. If you put Ananda Lewis, you'll see her. She was on
yeah.
106 Park Street. And
You see the Tyrone.
Yeah, I
You
see.
seen her.
I know who this is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I could see why some Asian women would get some of their eye surgeries done, because they, like makeup is promoted and stuff for young girls and women, and they can't really wear the eye makeup because, the way they.
You
it's
said
called
you see why they
epicam,
get it done.
Yeah, I can see why the girls would kind of get it done. Not like double eyelid, but like mono, because it's not as striking, because they're not able, like, to wear eye makeup like other women because of the way their eyelids are. Like, they don't have really an eyelid. And so they can't wear eyeliner, they can't put eyeshadow there, they can't do a smoky eye. I can see why they would want to be able to do all that stuff when they're young.
I mean, I don't. Well, makeup ain't that important. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, see, you're a man, but it's been promoted a lot for young girls. That's why Sephora and Ulta blew up so big.
Yeah. Well, who's this unknown caller line I just opened?
What's going on, Tyrone? It's Big Will.
What's happening, Big Will?
Not too much, same old same. I'm talking about the Chinese. You have to remember that Hong Kong used to be Hong Kong once upon a time used to be under European rule,
China.
under Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why a lot of the Chinese stopped wearing the traditional garb to the European suits or whatnot. It wasn't until a few days ago I found out that even the Shaolin monks weren't real Shaolin monks. Thanks to Michael Jai White.
Yeah, I saw that
I wanna
video
say
too.
the 80s. Yeah. So a lot of that stuff that the Chinese are doing are actually under European influence. I want to say American, because they were touched by Americans. However, Hong Kong itself once was under European rule, and I can't remember what year they actually left European rule, but they still hold on to those European traditions and values. And Ananda Lewis, 52 years old, beautiful sister. She used to be the host of a great show back in the day in the mid to late 90s,
Mm-hmm.
called Teen Summit. And that's when BET was really BET, Black Entertainment Television. She was a miraculous host. She did her thing. Gorgeous, educated, and she rests well.
Yeah.
Also, let me put this out real quick too, fam, because I gotta get ready to get some shut eye. She was she didn't. Unfortunately, the sister was trying to do the holistic route, which I'm for the holistic route, but at the same time, if you battling breast cancer for over a year and the holistic stuff isn't working, you might want to look into that traditional medicine, bro.
Oh,
I
so
mean, no
she was
disrespect to that young
trying to
sister.
be holistic and heal herself and all that.
Yeah, she had it for for some years now before she passed, but it became stage 3, and she admitted on her something feed. I don't know if it was Twitter, Instagram, or what,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it was like early, like sometime in 2020, that she was like breast cancer stage 3 and whatnot.
Well, yeah,
But
rest in peace to that sister, man. And look, guys, I don't have anything against about natural healing and all that kind of stuff like that. But like Big Will said, you're gonna have to determine when you're gonna have to start trusting science during that whole journey. I know it's like a
yeah,
spiritual thing, and you don't trust the pharmaceutical companies and all that kind of stuff, but they got a history of that stuff working. So you need to know when to say when on that stuff. You know.
and I want to say much respect to her partner. I think it's Will Smith's brother and her son. I think he was like he's a teenager. I do know that. I think he's a teenager, like 13 or 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he gets the help that he needs and become a strong young brother for his mother. You know what I mean? But that's all I got, fam.
All right, thanks for
Yeah.
calling in, Big Will. I just opened 2 lines. Who lines are these?
What's going on?
Well, I just got one question now before I go, if you're going to let me go. Do I get to go on that link extemporaneously the way you let everybody else do?
Well, you will as soon as I
Well, I'm
get.
not going to be restricted in any way,
Well, I'm
shape,
answering.
form, or fashion, unlike the other folks you done let on tonight.
I'm answering your question. I'm gonna let Sister Nobody go, and then Jay New York, and then you can go. Okay.
All right, I'll wait.
Tyrone, I want to say something.
Okay.
No, I want to say something right quick. As far as Hong Kong was concerned, they will made a point about Hong Kong. Yes, they came from under Britain. I think 2000 and what was that? 2010 or 11, I think.
Yeah, they
Don't
released
mistake
them
me, but
to the
yes, but it was around
China.
that time.
They give them back to China.
Huh?
They give them back to China.
Yeah. They're supposed to go back to China, but the point was that they feel today that China might invade Hong Kong.
Right, because Hong
See, that's
Kong
what-
really supposed to be their own shit.
Right, exactly. So
like
but what
Taiwan.
China wants, right? But what China wants is to bring Hong Kong back under China.
Right.
That's what China wants. See, so that's gonna be kind of interesting too. So,
Well,
but
it
that's-
says Hong
that's-
Kong was under British rule from 1841 to 1997. Is that the period y'all
Yeah.
talking about?
Right.
Okay.
And the UK
Right,
gave
right,
it back to China, which they wasn't supposed to. Hong Kong was supposed to be independent, but because China has so much power, I guess, business-wise, with the UK, so we hand it back to you. It's just like how they handed over India back to India, right?
Right.
You know, and so they're like, oh, we got so much commerce coming through. So they got millions of Indians in the UK, you know, and they done turn white themselves. So it's like, okay, we give you your shit back. You know, we're gonna make a lot of money off of your asses though. And Hong Kong, we don't gonna give it back to Hong Kong because China has more power, and you know we're doing business with China. We staying good with China. We give this shit to China. There you have it.
Right. Well,
right.
I mean, like I said, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea if they was able to come together peacefully and draw out a peaceful solution, because China will give Hong Kong give the Hong Kong dollar more and more power if China if they do come back under China. So that wouldn't be a bad idea, but Hong Kong wants to be on its own still, I think. So we're gonna see how that works out.
While y'all are on China, you know this trade agreement the president is supposed to be working with, and
Bingo.
we're finding out, China is saying, wait a minute, but it's all about those minerals, those
That's
magnets. See, so they want to hold back on it now.
Chips.
Trump, well, no, they said something about the car battery magnets, amongst other things.
Okay, which is all right.
Right, and what they said was, if China holds back on this, it ruins the car companies, with the electric cars, and it
Oh,
ruins them. So now, there's some negotiations going on, but this big, beautiful trade deal that between the U.S. and China isn't anywhere close.
no, because
So
Donald
they're
Trump is
trying to
a
put it.
bitch, and he let China walk all over him. Hey, what's up, sister?
Yeah.
Nobody, how you doing?
Mhm.
Damn, man, you just gonna bypass me, ain't you?
I
You
said
ain't
sister
your turn
nobody
yet.
Jay, and then you.
Yeah. What the hell you
You
talking
didn't
about?
say that, but never mind.
Sergeant, clean the shit out your ears. Go ahead.
You there, sister? Nobody? I guess y'all done ran off the phone. All right, Sarge. What you got?
Okay. Now look. Before I get started, I'm just gonna let you know, because this is because East Coast made a big deal out of telling you your service in the armed forces made you an expert on posse comitatus, Title 10, and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So I just like to say, in
Didn't
that
say
vein,
that.
and
I
in
didn't
that,
say
hey,
that.
I get uninterrupted time now, or do I? You gonna mute anybody?
Well, listen, guys. Y'all do not interrupt Sarge because I detect a hint of jealousy from that compliment or whatever, and he got some feelings that he wants to let out. So
No, I'm just relating. That's the standard for determining whether anybody knows what they're talking about or not. I'm just going to show you that I just might have a decent idea of what I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
I was employed in the capacity of over a year working with the Battalion S3 as a battalion operations sergeant. And in that capacity of a military police company, in that capacity, I work with the Battalion S3 and the S5. You do know what those staff positions are, don't you?
yeah.
Okay,
S3 is operations. S2 is intelligence. S1 is your pack, and then what the fuck was S5? S4 is
S5, civic affairs, civil affairs.
S4 is logistics. Go ahead.
S5 is civil affairs.
But go ahead.
So in other words, I was responsible, among other duties, for promulgating standard operating procedure and operational instructions, of course, at the approval of my commanding officer, who was the battalion exec. I would do most of the legwork. He'd look at it and sign off on it. And I had to help promulgate standard operating procedure and operational orders for our military police company when and if we were deployed either under the Insurrection Act or in a case of state martial law if the state governor declared it, or martial law in the case the president declared it in a region or across the country. So that's where my expertise comes from. And I had to talk about Title 10, Title 32, and the Posse Comitatus Act. I had to be acquainted with it and be familiar with all of it because that was my job. So with that in mind, I'm going to give you a little bit of information that I know is going to really cheer you up. Because I know this judge, I don't give a fuck if he's a judge, he's full of shit. His name is Breyer, Stephen Breyer. That's Charles Breyer. He's former U.S. Supreme Court Justice's brother, Stephen Breyer. And he has just said that President Trump acted illegally when he seized control of California's National Guard, and he ordered Trump, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States, to return control of the National Guard to Governor Newsom. Now, I know this is not going to stand up, and you know it too, because it's never been done before in the history of the United States. It will not stand, but it goes to show you the lengths to which they will go to. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is a historical question that already happened. Okay, in June of 1963, George Wallace mobilized his state guard, his Alabama State National Guard, and sent them to the University of Alabama to block the federal court's injunction or court order ordering the desegregation of Alabama State University. President John F. Kennedy then federalized against his wishes the Alabama National Guard and ordered them to ensure the desegregation of the University of Alabama. And no judge in the United States thought it suitable or fitting to say that the President of the United States could not order federal troops to either enforce a federal court order or to protect federal property or to protect federal personnel and federal functions, because in the history of the United States, the President of the United States has always been allowed to do that with whatever forces under his command that he sees fit. And that would include forces deployed under Title 10 of the United States Code in compliance with all of the regulations governing the deployment of a reserve component of the United States Army called the National Guard. They're not a state militia when they're called in the federal service. They are another component of the United States Army, and I know you know that. Now, you had the governor of California and the mayor of Los Angeles dithering, dragging their feet. When they were told that the ICE personnel were under attack, it was over 2 hours before they got LAPD to respond to that building. Over 2 hours, with federal agency asking for help when they were besieged. They didn't want to discomfort the little black bloc allies in Antifa and the remnants of BLM and Occupy Wall Street and all them other little fascist, anti-fascists. So Donald Trump was within his purview and his right to do what he did. This judge's ruling will not stand unless all of a sudden this judge has the power to amend the Constitution and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States, the President of the United States, is in fact no longer the President of the United States and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States. A judge has taken it upon himself to decide that he can tell the president how and when to deploy troops under control of the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. This is beyond freaking belief. It ain't gonna stand. You know it, and I know it.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you so I can respond to you, because everything you just said is a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Title 10 up on the screen. And specifically, what President Trump used was 10 USC 124006. No, 12406. And that's the federalization of the National Guard. And it says whenever the United States or any other commonwealth or possessions is invaded or is in danger of invasion by a foreign nation, there is a rebellion or danger of a rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States, or the president is unable with regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. All of that disqualifies President Trump's action already. It says the president may call into federal service members and the units of the National Guard or any state in such a number as he is considered necessary to repel the invasion, suppress the rebellion, or execute those laws, orders, or these purposes shall be issued through the governors of the state, or in the case of the District of Columbia, through the commanding general of the National Guard of the District of Columbia. Now, what Donald Trump did was not talk to Governor Newsom, and the Governor Newsom did not ask for federal help. This Title 10 that Sarge is bragging so much about, he think y'all stupid, but he talking to Tyrone. All you have to do is read it. It clearly says there has to be a goddamn invasion. There wasn't. It clearly says there has to be a rebellion. There wasn't. Just because they say there's an invasion doesn't make an invasion. Just because they say there was a rebellion doesn't make it a rebellion. There has to be an actual invasion or actual goddamn rebellion. And the paragraph at the end said that the president has to coordinate with the goddamn governor to get permission to enact his goddamn National Guard. So all that shit that Sarge just said was a goddamn lie. And I don't know why you think people don't read. I don't know why you come on here and you talking to Tyrone and think that I'm not going to fucking prove to you that you've been doing this for years, and every time you come on here with your damn stances and your lies, you get proven wrong every goddamn time. So there's your Title 10, Sarge. So stop
All
lying
right,
to
so here's
people.
what I want you to do, since you can't read
God
very
damn.
well. When you miss the conjunction, the word "or" is a conjunction.
Oh
And
God!
it
Now we're
says
doing
after
semantics. I ain't
through
doing this
the
with you.
governors of the states, and then right after the word states, it says "or." That's a conjunction. And that conjunction then goes on to independently, has an independent clause, say, in the case of the D.C. through the commanding general of the National Guard of the District of Columbia.
Okay, so shut up and let me teach you how to read again. Whenever that conjunction that Sarge is talking about is in this paragraph, that is not including talking about enacting the National Guard. It is giving you more territory. That's why that "or" is there. It says in the United States or the District of Columbia, in any of the states or the District of Columbia. It ain't saying or what. It ain't saying what the fuck Sarge saying. Where the hell did you learn to read, nigga? God damn, the fuck! Stop it. Now, I'm tired of teaching
You
your
love to
dumb
mute
ass.
me, don't you? You don't mute no motherfucking body else but me. You have
Because
to.
I wanted to get
All right,
that out,
let me say
Sarge.
this one more time.
Go
Wait a
ahead,
minute.
go ahead.
Let me say this one more time here, Tyrone. Now listen carefully. What rebellion was George Wallace engaged in? He was enforcing the laws of the state of Alabama that had to do with segregation. They had laws on the books saying they could segregate. That was the law in the state of Alabama. So what was he rebelling against? What authority did JFK have to take his National Guard away from him and deploy them against his wishes? You might want to think about that too in your little screed.
Okay, so here's what you do,
I
right?
know you got no answer, and I didn't think you would.
Okay, so here's what you do: is instead of talking about the issue where you're wrong with this Title 10.
Now, I'm not wrong, sir. You say I'm wrong. It ain't the same
Okay,
thing.
so I didn't cut you off, sir. Instead of addressing the issues where you've been called out, and I proved to you that you was wrong with your interpretation of Title 10. Instead of talking about that, you always try to deflect and talk about something that happened in the past and try to conflate it with what the fuck going on right now. Listen, in the 1960s,
The law hasn't
shut the
changed,
fuck
sir.
up. Shut the fuck
The law
up.
is exactly the same.
Shut the fuck up. In the 1960s, guys, Sarge's people, Sarge's ancestors were fighting for fucking rights.
Democrats, they were Democrats fighting for slavery.
Oh, God. See, this is why I mute you. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to mute you. Sarge's people, my people, your people, were fighting for access to resources in the United States of America. And we all know that time is Jim Crow and oppression and all that kind of shit, right? White people, the people that Sarge loved now, were trying to prevent this. So much so that they were killing motherfuckers. They was leaving motherfuckers in rivers. They was lynching motherfuckers. They were not allowing this with violence. This is what was going on that Sarge is trying to use as a defense right now. So yes, the president said, no, you're going to allow these damn these African American, these American citizens to attend your goddamn university. And if not, you're going to face force. So Sarge, it's no goddamn comparison. There is no fucking movement, civil rights movement, or anything like that going on in California right now. This whole thing was manufactured by Donald Trump. It was escalated by Donald goddamn Trump. There is no rebellion. There was no need for him to ignore the governor of that state because the governor, the chief of police, the mayor of these goddamn cities said that they didn't want the goddamn federal government in there. So that's where Donald Trump violates this fucking Title 10 bullshit, because whenever they said we don't need it, he did it any goddamn way. So stop it with your bullshit. Now, let me open these lines.
Oh, yeah, you think you through with me? You ain't through with me, nigga. You just trying to shut me up now, ain't you?
Because
Go on with your bullshit.
listen,
you scared to death of me, nigga. I'm about to blow you right out the water. You let me keep going, I'm gonna kick your damn ass.
I just body slammed your ass.
Are you trying to dismiss me now?
I just body slammed your ass. Okay, who is this?
Whatever. Okay, whatever.
Who is
Can I
this?
explain something wrong, Maze?
Hey, what's up, Maze? And let me check this other caller right quick. Who's this other line open?
Hey, what's up, Tyrone?
What's up, Joe? You can go after Maze. What's happening, Maze?
Oh, I called to explain when Kennedy sent the National Guards to Alabama for those students to make sure that George Washington didn't do nothing to harm them for going through that door. What Trump's doing, he's out there causing a record with those people. He got out there missing those people that's not harming anything. So there's a difference between the two. So I don't know that he's incorrect. Because he don't know what he's talking about. He's just always trying to find an excuse of something to make them look.
Yeah, he did a lot of time on battalion S3 staff.
Hold on, sir.
You know all about
Hold
it.
on, sir. Let her get
Wait,
it out.
that's right. I know all about it. No more about it than you. And you just be wasting time on here with all that crap that you on here talking about. Don't nobody hear that mess you talking about wasting time so people can have something to discuss that they want to.
I guess you missed all the video of them people attacking the members in ICE, and they had to fight back with tear gas and rubber bullets while they were waiting for help from the LAPD, which didn't show up for over 2 hours. I guess you missed that because you're blind as a bat.
Hold on.
They was calling. They out there bothering those people, which those people are being peaceful.
They were throwing rocks at them. They were trying to break into the facility to stop them from doing their job.
Sorry, Jelani.
That was literally sedition.
Sorry,
you listening to whoever else spreading the lie that you're trying to pull. So those are two different situations. The reason those.
Oh, woman, you live in an alternate reality.
So you ain't even letting her talk. You're not even letting her talk.
No. And so we don't want to hear your crap that you in here with. Trying to save somebody like you.
Oh, you don't want to hear anything. You're cool. Why would you? And by the way, did you see all that stuff, Tyrone? And why am I lying about the attacks on the ICE facility, too? Did you see it or did you not see it, Tyrone?
Did you see? You saw January 6th, too, but you don't
even think you. You don't know a damn thing. I know Tyrone probably saw it.
Yeah, that's a point. That's a good point, man. He ain't never acknowledged January 6th.
Did you see the attacks on the federal?
Did you see the attack on the goddamn Capitol on January 6th?
You want to attack people?
Did you see it or did you not?
Did you see the attack on the Capitol on January 6th?
Why do you have to change the subject? Because you know.
Oh, now I'm doing what you do. I'm doing what you're doing now. I'm changing the subject.
You want to argue about January 6th? Let's have a separate conversation about that then.
You don't think that all he think about is Black Lives Matter. So, you know,
I'm ready to go toe-to-toe. I'm ready to go toe-to-toe with you on any damn thing. But right now we're talking about the National Guard and Trump federalizing and this goddamn federal judge just telling him he can't do it.
We can sing together, but we can't talk together. So that's what you're in here for. But when you read something, know how to comprehend what you're reading. And when you hear something,
you stop. You're a moron, and you have no
let her talk.
About anything. Someone else say.
Sorry, let her talk.
So all that screaming not gonna help anything. So I'm not gonna be on long.
I know it doesn't help anything. Nothing just do that.
Sorry, come on, man. Sorry. Come on, man. Come on.
And we don't want to hear it.
I got
we
more
ain't got time for you to be wasting time. So you was incorrect about Alabama because two different situations.
It's no different as far as the law is concerned. That's what you fail to realize because you live in an era of subjective reality, not objective application of the law, which is the only way it's supposed to be applied.
Negro, stop cutting her off so I can get to these other callers, please. So stop.
Yes, I'm getting off. They're harassing.
All right, well, you go ahead and dismiss me because I stick around, I'm going to beat the shit out of you and you know it.
Because don't want to hear your crap. Good night. And have a good one, Tyrone.
Okay.
Hey, Tyrone, see? Hey, Tyrone, let me say something.
Wait a minute.
This is what agents do. This is what agents do. They cause chaos. And this is what
you right.
doing right now. Causing chaos. So what the fuck he do is come on and cause chaos.
So I got. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me.
It's probably dancing all around the inside of your skull.
Let me acknowledge Joe, and then who's this unknown caller line I just opened? This line right here. Who line is this?
Man, can't even get it out.
Who is that?
Me. OC.
Oh, what's up, Big OC? So you can go after Joe, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, look. Let me throw some numbers at you. So they estimate that there's about between 1.8 and 2.3 million undocumented in California. All right. Last week, ICE arrested 239 people. 239 out of between 1.8 and 2.3 million. So, do you realize at the rate that they're arresting people, they'll be arresting people, or I should say detaining or whatever that you want to call it, stuff, whatever label you want on it, probably for the next 100-something years. This is political theater. Understand political theater. All of this basically is to, incite and to gen up emotions, because there's no way for them to effectively carry out the overall mission, which is to, get rid of these undocumented folks. So it's just political theater. And it's there for political reasons, which is to gin up guys like Sarge and ABC and all the rest of those things. But also, too, there's an underlying subtext to this. I don't know if you're aware of it or paying attention to it. The underlying subtext is protest is for the white man. All right? Protest is for the white man. When you are a brown person, there is nobody saying, well, no, it's a peaceful protest. There's nobody in office saying that or going to offer you a pardon. So there's a subtext in play too. So just keep this in mind as you watch this stuff go on. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you, sir. Big OC, what's happening?
Chilling. Shit, man, I just tapped in, heard y'all talking about the protest.
Are they near you?
Firsthand knowledge. I've been to all of them down here.
Okay.
Last night I was at the ones that are in Santa Ana, California. You can look that up. And then I've been downtown LA at those. It's gonna crack off on Saturday though. On Saturday is when it's gonna jump off. Out here. I know one of the city councilmen down in Santa Ana. So it's supposed to be real big that day. So, at the end of the day, they know that these protests are going to take place on Saturday. They can either come heavy-handed or they could just fall back and do what police normally do and block off certain streets and just sit there. Because people, from as far as I've seen, yeah, shit's going to turn up when you start shooting out tear gas and flashbangs and all that shit. People are going to start reacting. Most civilians don't have flashbangs. So when you hear them shits, that's law enforcement doing that shit. So when you're using that kind of stuff on man, it's regular people out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
All the Antifa, all the this, to that, to that, to this. It's just regular people out there that after a while, they turn up. They burn in carless driver vehicles, because a lot of times them carless driver vehicles, they got like 40, 50 cameras on them, and they just circle in the area. So people trying to get rid of a way for these cars to report on what's going on, because that's what a lot of them are used for in LA. But if law enforcement wasn't present like they were, you got grandmas out there, man. There's grandmas and older people out there, a lot of children out there, a lot of high school age kids out there. So the need to be heavy-handed is really not there. A lot of these people aren't even driving them. These people are on foot. So it's a local thing. It ain't like people are getting paid to do this. Nah, most people are walking to these functions. Ain't nobody leaving their area. Everyone's able to have a protest where they live, and they got enough people to do it. So I don't see, or what I see is, like, once again, it's a culture war. It gives the other side the opportunity to use, all the buzzwords to get their side typed up. They're going to keep showing you the same scenes over and over and over and over again, but not show you the scenes where mayors are speaking at some of these protests, and city council people are speaking, the police chiefs are speaking, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Attacking the police, man, the police chiefs are out there. They're out there amongst the people. So the all these things that they say are going on are really isolated. So it's not as big as people want to see it. But if you're trying to rally your troops on the Republican side, yes, you're going to say all the use all the buzzwords of insurrection, invasion, attacking. If you attack the National Guard, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to believe they're going to shoot at you. They just ain't going to get attacked. And once again, ain't nobody got no guns on the other side. There's no guns. So I totally discount the narrative because once again, I'm out here. So anybody that ain't out here that's saying what they doing, it's not happening. I done talked to the National Guard. I got my shit on. I recorded my shit talking to the National Guard. They really ain't as hyped up as they making it sound. I think the National Guards understand they're just there as a deterrence, man. They really ain't gonna get physical with them people down there because it really ain't that serious. That's my 2 cents from being on the ground.
Well, yeah, man, I appreciate that. Like you said, Sarge was talking about the violence that happened after the flashbangs, after the rubber bullets were shot, and it's just a response to that type of violence that was escalated by the government. So you can't just sit up and throw the rock and hide your goddamn hand. And that's why I don't try to engage him whenever he say, well, did you see such and such vandalism? No, it don't matter. What about what happened first? What happened first was they was out
You
there.
don't try to engage because you can't engage with
No,
me.
I'm telling you now why. What happened first was there was a peaceful protest.
I know. You just dismiss me because I don't know anything. Maybe you ought to talk to Mays about it.
What happened first? What happened first was there was a peaceful protest, peaceful, and then it got escalated by the goddamn government. That's what happened. So unless you want to start at the goddamn
with the video, those people attacking the people in ICE.
So unless you want to start at the goddamn beginning, then we can have a conversation. But don't tell me about what cars got fucked up and all that kind of shit after they started the shit.
It fit the very definition of sedition.
No,
They're
it
trying
doesn't.
to obstruct a federal operation. They're trying to obstruct the feds from carrying out immigration law enforcement in California.
Okay,
That
once
is the
again,
definition of sedition.
Once
That is the
again,
definition of rebellion against the authority of the United States.
once again, you don't know what sedition
You hear
means.
this bullshit?
Once again, you don't know what sedition mean, and those people were
Well, then
having
what the fuck was January 6th then, if you don't believe that?
okay, motherfucker. January the 6th was them trying to stop the goddamn president of the United States from taking goddamn office. That is sedition. That is treason because it was held in fucking Washington, D.C. at the goddamn Capitol, motherfucker. Goddamn. What the fuck is wrong with you? What we're talking about now, these people in California, that should be considered civil. I don't know what the fuck else. I don't know how to put this shit right here. The federal government didn't have shit to do with a fucking protest that is authorized by the Constitution of this motherfucking United States of America. You using Title 10, and nowhere in Title 10 does it say the president have the authority to act without the permission of the goddamn governor. You ignoring all of that just to make this goddamn stupid ass argument you making in support of these goddamn tyrannical fucking people that you're fucking following. You are a motherfucking cult member, Sarge. And then look, guys, I got the text on the damn screen. You can read it yourself. That's why that judge that Sarge is so upset with tonight made this decision, because it says up the top here, 10 U.S. Code 12406, National Guard and Federal Service Call. This text contains laws in effect on June the 11th, 2025. And I shared with you what the goddamn laws was. And Sarge is just trying to read all over it. And because it says or the District of Columbia, he wants to use that and said, did you see the conjunction? It didn't have anything to do with the meat of the goddamn text, which it says the United States or the Commonwealth or its possession is invaded or in danger of invasion by a foreign nation, or there is a rebellion or danger of a rebellion against the authorities of the government of the United States of America. That ain't what the fucking protest is. Or the president is unable with regular forces to execute the laws of the United States of America. Not at one goddamn time has President Trump been not able to execute the laws of the goddamn United States of America during this damn protest. The president may call into federal service the National Guard or any state in such number to consider necessary to repel the invasion, which didn't happen, suppress the rebellion, which didn't happen, or execute the laws for which he wasn't stopped from doing the laws. orders of these purposes shall be issued through the governors of the state. That's what the fuck this law says. God damn. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. You know, see, this is the thing with, you know, these guys. The through line is this. You know, there's the rhetoric, and then there's what they can prove in court and what they say in court. And clearly, you know, there's a distinction between the two. See, Trump is really good about ginning up guys like Sarge who will put themselves out on the line for him. And so, you know, by using flaming rhetoric, you know, inflamed words, you know, words of what he thinks, words of power. But at the end of the day, if there's a problem, if you don't agree with him, that's what the courts are for, Sarge. Take it to court. How come his lawyers don't argue this shit in court? How come they don't?
Do you realize they just got this goddamn thing back from this judge? Now they have to enter their brief. What are you talking about, man? They just got the judge's ruling. It came down a couple of hours ago. You'll see their response.
Yeah. Okay.
Just wait. I guarantee you, they'll get there as quickly as they can.
Yeah, see, again, we're in this just wait. Just wait. There's going to be appeal. Things are going to be overturned.
Again,
just wait.
Just made the goddamn ruling.
We've been waiting, Sarge. We've been waiting for this revelation, Sarge. With everything that you disagree with, it seems to boil down to just wait. They're going to overturn this. Just wait. They're going to blah, blah, blah. It ain't happened yet.
We're going to see the way it goes down. I guarantee you, they're going to get this brief in as fast as possible and get it to the 9th District Court of Appeals to see if they get it overturned. And if it doesn't go there,
I can hop on it.
Is the Supreme Court, because this
I can
directly
hop on it
infringes on
because
the
you're
authority of the
wrong.
President of the United
You lose,
States.
Sarge.
The Supreme Court has got to hear it.
Yeah. Hey, Tyrone, you know, I heard on a podcast the most profound quote the other day. And the quote was, some people are so far behind, they think they're in the lead. And it just hit me. There you go. Some people are so fucking far behind, they think they're in the lead. So there it is. But yes, I'm going to harp on it, Sarge, because you're wrong. You lose, Sarge. You're losing.
Yeah, well, you never admit it. When I turn out to be right, when it gets to the Supreme Court, you never admit it. You just ignore it and, oh, never mind. Because I'm always right when it gets to the Supreme Court. Always.
Yeah,
now, you stuck on that for a
know.
while and consider the way this is going to come out, because it's going to come out just the way I say it will. Like I've always been right in the past.
Just like you was right about the tariffs, just like you was right about tariffs, just like you was right about Hillary Clinton, just like you was right
they
about...
never got to the Supreme Court, nigga. I said, what did I just say? When it gets to the Supreme Court, I'm always right about the way it's going to come out.
Oh, God. Okay, whatever.
Hey,
Well, you were right about the Bitcoin balls.
I'm right about that, too. You take them out your motherfucking mouth.
Okay, listen. Listen. Why the fuck y'all got to bring up some damn Benoit balls? Y'all do that shit off my
Hey, yeah, they just can't help themselves, man. When they run out of arguments, they
I
do that
couldn't
juvenile
resist,
shit.
Come on, man.
When these niggas run out of arguments, they resort to the juvenile prank.
Yeah, because that shit is a knockout point.
You know, you know why? Because you know why? Because it just reminds us of him talking shit. He just talks shit. Hey, Tyrone. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have your ass on the block too, Negro, because you wrong too. No, you didn't even make an argument. You just start going with your ratchet, I'm a black queen shit.
Sorry. Can you shut the hell up? Go ahead, Sister.
Yeah. You know, when you say that there are guest speakers speaking, like the senators and people in the political field speaking, that tells me that these protests are organized by some form of organization that says, okay, we're going to be responsible for these people from this time to this time, being that we're here speaking. So what Sarge is saying is like crazy, because why would these people act up between this time and that time? It doesn't make any sense. Organizations are responsible because they're the ones who put their names on the line saying this is going to be a peaceful protest with the city approval of the protest. That's all I have to say.
Right.
Hey, but the response to that, nobody these groups are already in place from when Trump was, first in office. They just reactivated once Trump got reelected. Because remember all those protests that were going down when Trump first went in office? Those people are still there. Those people are still in place. They just said, oh, here we go again. So this is what you're seeing, a lot more organization and a lot less chaos than the first go round.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. What's up, mama's boy?
Peace, everybody. Peace, everybody.
What's that?
I didn't really want. I was just chiming in, but once again, Sarge, he does this, and I just wanted to throw this out to everybody. Whenever he's trying to prove a point for the white man, he'll use a situation that happened to black people to fortify his argument, like he used against, the Title 10 and the National Guard being called in so some girls could go to school. It's amazing how he does that. He does it every time. He wants to prove his argument. He'll pull out a situation where black people were disenfranchised and the government had to step in or somebody had to step in or something to deal with black people to prove his argument for the white man. And I told him he need to stop doing that shit the other night. And here he is laying out, doing it again. Peace, y'all.
All right.
What the hell was the point of that?
Well, because you're using a false equivalency when you're talking about what they did in the 60s compared to what's going on now. It's not the same thing.
It's not a false equivalence. I recited the history exactly the way it occurred. The governor did not want his National Guard mobilized in federal service. The president took it away from him, and it's the same situation legally. Exactly the same legally.
It's not.
I think the reason why he does it, I think the reason why he does it, Tyrone, is he wants to try to give you a very difficult argument by using the plight of black people so he can prove his point for the white man's behavior.
It's the only one I can think of where the president took away a National Guard from, the other one was the other Democrat governor, Orville Faubus, in the case of the integration of the Little Rock schools. I believe that's the only two times in the history of the United States where a president had to take away the authority of a state governor and his National Guard. What do you want me to do, make up one like Tyrone does?
Nigga, what you're talking about is the president of the United States going against these racist ass fucking goddamn governors, these racist ass goddamn areas where white people were known to kill motherfucking black people. How many fucking migrants during Trump's administration and these protests have killed any goddamn body? How much violence has happened to cause the president of the United States to enact or militarize or federalize the goddamn National Guard? None. In those situations in the 60s, black people were dying. Black people were getting beat up. Black people were getting lynched. And these fucking racist ass governors won't doing shit about it. So goddamn, it was for the protection of the United States citizens that was trying to do whatever they was doing, attend school or go to college or whatever the fuck. That's why they enacted the goddamn National Guard. Sarge, you cannot equate those situations to what the fuck going on right now. I don't give a fuck how many YouTube videos you watch. I don't give a fuck what kind of contortion you do. It's not the same thing. You are in the wrong goddamn arena to be trying to equate those two events. Now, if you want to talk about what's going on in LA, let's do that. But you're not going to equate what's going on. It's not the same goddamn thing. It just ain't.
I didn't say it was the same thing. I said legally it's the same thing.
It is not. It is not.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
You believe in the objective application of law. You believe in a subjective one. If it's the thing that you like, then you say it's okay to do. If you don't like it, it isn't. Even though the legal circumstances are nearly identical.
Bull crap. Correlation does not imply causation. I'm telling you, Sarge, correlation doesn't imply causation.
You have a policy difference with the president. That doesn't mean he can't do it.
He broke the goddamn law.
Adequate reason. He does. He's the president. You're not. He gets to make that
call.
I'm
talking about you.
He's clearly got evidence of people who are attempting to interfere with federal functions through acts of violence. That is sedition.
There was no
sure.
acts of goddamn
No, it
violence
is
going
not.
on until the goddamn troops showed up, you idiot. No, that was a peaceful protest.
Well, not to mention, Tyrone, the president has to ask the governor if he needs him there, and he didn't this time. I mean, when you even look at their court filings, right? It says insert. There's nothing on the paper that shows their argument. They're supposed to write their argument down in the law when they enter these filings. And when you look at the filings that they posted, it was nothing on the paper. It said insert, like put something here. They didn't put nothing there. So good luck with that, Tyrone. Good luck with them motherfuckers winning that.
You know,
But that's what I said. No,
recently. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Nobody said.
No, recently it was a black man that came on. I guess a natural disaster happened in his area, a hurricane or something. And he was walking through the area and he was showing, he said they're spending all that money to send military there and to California to deal with that. And here they are getting no help and no aid. They don't have any running water, and a lot of the debris and electricity is out in that area. That's what he was pointing out. So this is the same man. He cares so much, but he want to shut down FEMA. So
All right, so and I seen you on the line, ABC, but let's take Sarge's 1963 example. The governor, George Wallace, blocked the enrollment of black students in a university in the United States of America. The governor himself was breaking the goddamn law. Now, if you take this situation today, that ain't got shit to do. It is not the same thing to where you have some type of rogue governor not allowing access to blah, blah, blah. It ain't got shit. So the president had no other choice for his citizens, his black citizens in this country, except for to make a way for them to have access to the resources in this goddamn country. So when I'm telling Sarge that he's not, these two things are fucking different, for some reason, he wants to say that they're the same. No, they're not. Governor George Wallace blocked the enrollment of 2 black students to the University of Alabama. His act of defiance would be short-lived as President Kennedy federalized the Alabama National Guard, instructing them to end Wallace's blockade. That was a governor fucking breaking the law, allowing students into the goddamn school. So stop using 1963 and equating it to goddamn what's going on now. Donald Trump is breaking the law because he did not get the governor's permission. George Wallace won't in no position to give the goddamn president any type of agreements because he was doing the goddamn blockade. So it's not the same goddamn thing, you fucking moron. All right, now who else was on this line? I think I
Not only am I gonna not stop doing it, I'm gonna bring up Orville Provis from Little Rock.
Just
in
say you was wrong.
57. Dwight D. Eisenhower did the same thing to his Democrat ass.
Okay, so do I need to look up that too and prove you wrong? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
look it up, Negro. Get educated.
Yeah,
Cause you don't know a
Tyrone,
goddamn thing about history.
Tyrone, look it
Not
up.
a goddamn thing.
It was that's the Little Rock 9. This dumbass nigga is a dumbass nigga, man.
Hey, nigga! He took away the National Guard from Provis. And Provis didn't want him to take it away. President Eisenhower did that too.
Hey, sorry, eat a dick.
I guess you don't know the difference, you fucking ignorant bastard.
Oh,
you must have gone to college.
All right,
I
so
did, Cal State Fullerton.
I think ABC, you on the line. Usually you don't say nothing, but is that you? Somebody got the host number.
Yeah, that's me, man. I'm just listening.
Oh, okay, because you ain't got shit to say. Because you be on here damn.
Hey,
Oh, because I ain't for the dumb nigga talk.
Tyrone, real quick.
Uh-huh.
We're not for the black skin talk. We're not for the black skin talk tonight.
The National Guard got to get up out of the streets in California. So tomorrow they'll go back to what they were doing before they came to LA, and which was back on the border dealing with fentanyl.
They don't take orders from a judge. The president's going to have to order them back. That judge can't order them to do a goddamn thing.
The motherfuckers are out of here.
They don't take orders from judges. They're not in their chain of command. Or do you know any fucking thing about that?
Hey, Sarge, the governor said they out of here.
Negro, I don't give a fuck what that governor said. Right now, as far as those guardsmen are concerned, they're acting under orders of the commander-in-chief.
Sarge, let me ask you this, brother. What happened to states' rights, Sarge?
Wait, do you agree with me now about that, nigga? Or you know anything about the chain of command? Because this fool don't.
I'm going to ask you what happened to states' rights.
Just answer my question first, then I'll answer yours.
I don't agree with you.
Right now, those guardsmen are acting under the orders of the President of the United States.
Okay, so
until they get other orders, they're going to continue to obey them.
Okay, so let me tell you why I don't agree with you. Because the orders that the president gave those National Guard, federalizing them, was illegal orders. That's why the judge made his goddamn decision. So I don't agree with you that they're up under the goddamn control of the president of the United States because he didn't have the authority to do what the fuck he had to goddamn do. That's just the simple fact, Sarge. You know, as a military goddamn guy, if you get given an illegal order, you do not supposed to goddamn follow it. Now, we live in a weak-ass goddamn country with weak-ass leadership and weak-ass generals, so these goddamn people are following what the fuck Donald Trump says because he's the goddamn president, even though they know that he didn't have the authority. I just showed you the goddamn law where he don't have the goddamn authority. Even here on this phone right now, you won't acknowledge the goddamn law. So no, I don't agree with what the fuck you saying. President Trump do not have control of the goddamn National Guard legally, nigga, because what he did was illegal. What the fuck? That's what I've been screaming all goddamn night. Are you paying attention?
My point to you is they don't take orders from fucking judges, no matter what. They might take them from the general in charge if he determines he needs to follow that judge's order. They might do that, but they don't take orders from him. Nobody in the armed forces takes orders from judges.
They ain't gonna be here tomorrow.
Well, we'll see. In the meantime, by the way, Joe, the president has already filed a brief with the Ninth Circuit Court, so we'll see what happens. It's already been done, Joe.
Okay,
so now
Sarge.
we'll see what is true.
Sarge, I responded to you, so you answer my question. What happened to states' rights?
Okay, now states' rights ain't got a goddamn thing to do with the chain of command and the president of the United States. The state cannot tell the president you can't federalize the National Guard as he sees fit under existing law. He says there's an insurrection against the authority of the United States. Federal property needed to be protected. Federal personnel were under attack. The local authorities were not responding, so he deployed federal troops to protect them, just like the United States Marines were deployed on the streets of the United States from 1921 to 1930 to protect the United States mail.
Okay, so you came on here talking about Section 10, or whatever the fuck, Title 10. Title 10, in this paragraph, orders for these purposes shall be issued through the governors of the goddamn states. That is a goddamn states' rights that I'm talking about in this goddamn situation. What happened to goddamn state rights? What happened to the power of the governor to be able to control his goddamn National Guard, Sarge? That's what the hell I'm asking you. What the fuck happened to that? It's in this law that you introduced to this show tonight. You came on here yelling Title 10. So what happened to states' rights?
Okay, again, the troops are there to protect federal property. Federal property has never been questioned for any. I can see it if you're talking about them going out there enforcing civil law on the streets. They're not doing that right now. Right now, they're in a position to protect federal property. You don't need Title 10 to do that.
Okay, so you're full of shit again because the United States, well, not the United States, but the National Guard are under control of the goddamn state governors. Now, if it's up to governor, if the governor says protect this goddamn federal property, then protect the goddamn federal. If the governor say fuck that goddamn federal property, then the governor can say that. He has that goddamn power, believe it or goddamn not. You have inserted somehow or another that that's the purpose due to Fox News reporting they're protecting federal goddamn buildings. I don't know where the fuck y'all get that standard from, but that's what that's where the fuck you're using as a reason for why they're there. That is not a real valid reason, unless Governor Newsom said you protect this goddamn federal building. President Trump cannot federalize the National Guard and say go protect these federal buildings. That's bullshit. What you got in those circumstances, if those buildings need to be protected, is you have state fucking police officers, you have county police officers, and you have city police officers. That is their duty to protect those goddamn buildings in their goddamn jurisdictions. You fucking moron. You wore a goddamn badge, you idiot. You should know that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That is job, you goddamn fool. Jesus Christ, you're supposed to let him get overrun and burned out?
Well, if the local jurisdiction want to protect their goddamn buildings, then the police officers are there for that reason.
It's a federal building, you stupid bastard!
Well, it's in a damn city, motherfucker.
Motherfucker, it's federal property!
Oh God, you making up shit right now.
Yeah, but
you're literally making up. You are literally making up shit right now. Just because they're National Guard don't mean they protect federal property.
Is a federal building. I just made that up.
It doesn't matter. No, just because they're National Guard don't mean they're there to protect federal buildings, nigga. You got state troopers, county officers, police officers. Hell, you probably got some kind of private organization that can protect these goddamn buildings. You don't federalize the National Guard to protect federal goddamn buildings, you fucking moron. In that case, they're not even fucking goddamn working for the state no more. That means they're working off of my dime. Soon as they fucking get federalized, their checks come from me, the taxpayer. You fucking idiot. The fuck is wrong with you? There's something wrong with you.
Now you just got this saying in, the president doesn't have the authority to deploy federal troops to protect federal buildings. They're federal troops when they were federalized by the president of the United States.
Oh, God. Illegally federalized.
When I was in the National Guard, I said U.S. Army. Didn't say Illinois National Guard.
He illegally federalized those goddamn troops, Sarge.
Yeah, that's what you say. We'll see what the court say.
Well, read the law. I got it up on the screen.
Yeah, that's what you say, and you're always wrong. You're always wrong.
Go ahead.
Hey, Tyrone, real quick. Is it possible for somebody to have been in every goddamn military branch? I just want to know.
I don't know, maybe 2 or 3.
Yes, because it has happened before, but it didn't happen to me. I was in one. The National Guard and the United States Army. So I don't know about anybody who's been in all of them, even though I can't think of the names now, but there are people who've been in every branch of the active duty armed forces.
And that's what I'm going by. I don't know of anybody who did that, but I know somebody who been in 2 or 3.
I've read of a couple of cases in history where there have been a couple of people who have been.
But I know of 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
But it damn sure wasn't me.
I was talking to Big OC. I know like people who've been in 2 or 3.
Yeah, well, I'm talking to him. I know what kind of crack that motherfucker's trying to make.
Yeah, hey, Tyrone, part of the problem is, you know, what Sarge is saying their orders are and what they're saying in the media is 2 different things. Because there are members of Trump's administration in the media saying that the National Guard is going down there to quell civil disobedience. That's what they've been saying, not protect federal buildings. And so not only that, if they're not saying it, they're implying it, which is worse because it allows people to fill in what they want to fill in. So they're not being very specific about it. And if they're confusing the public, guess what? They're probably confusing the soldiers too. And
well, that's
so
where
this
he's
is
getting
where
it from.
It gets dangerous.
Because I heard Fox News said that they're there to protect federal buildings, which is some bullshit all day long. I don't know what
the civil disorder is aimed at the federal buildings.
Oh, God. It's the same shit. Listen, that's the same shit that they were saying about Black Lives Matter when Black Lives Matter protests turned into burning up buildings and stuff like that. They were saying that the National Guard need to be activated to protect federal buildings. That's what they were saying. But who did you see out there protecting the federal buildings? There was police officers, fucking county sheriffs, or whatever the fuck. That's who was out there protecting them goddamn buildings, Sarge. Just because Donald Trump is president don't make it any goddamn difference, you moron.
The president of the United States was not going to dither, wait around while the LAPD and the governor of California dithered, has to wait out. They're going to go against their allies.
All right, well then defund the motherfucking police then, motherfucker. Defund the goddamn police. If you don't need the police to do their motherfucking jobs, fire every goddamn one of them. That's exactly what the fuck you saying right now. Is the police can't do their goddamn job, which in turn means you won't doing your motherfucking job when you was a goddamn cop. So you telling me that they need help from federal government to do their fucking job? Jesus.
How much is it? Hold on.
Nigga, I said the LAPD didn't. There's 16,000 police departments in the United States, of which LAPD is only one.
Defund their ass. Defund them. Defund them.
No fucking orders like that.
Defund them. Defund them then.
We're talking about saving money in this country, right? So, Sarge, how much is this going to cost us and who's going to pay? Who's paying? How much is it?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. What are they supposed to do? I ain't worried about the funding right now.
Unnecessary funding.
What are they? They're in the job. They've got the funds. They got the personnel. There was a disorder at the federal building. They weren't shut there for over 2 hours. I don't give a fuck about the funding.
What is the point of Doge if you're going to be spending money crazy?
Man,
that's another good
you
point.
think you're not supposed to use forces appropriately when it's time to use them?
So let me ask. No, it's
This
not
is crazy. Now you're going into
hold on. Experts say that this is unnecessary. This is not a war here. We're not in a war zone. That's number one. No, many experts. Now, number two. So now we got. No. Listen, now we got another unnecessary issue where you spending all this money on the feds, having the National Guard, the Marines, right? But in addition, Sarge,
I can't believe it.
No, Sarge. I ask you, how much did the Doge services cost, and what is the result of the Doge? So now we got two bills. We got the bill of this shit going on, right? And then we got the Doge bill, which I want you to tell me how much did that cost, and again, what was the result of the Doge? Are they getting back the money? What happened? We're paying for this or what?
I don't know how much it costs, so I can't answer the question. All I know is this, is that the most important duty of any government, whether it's federal, state, or county, is to preserve order. There is no higher duty they have than that. And they weren't doing it. I don't care what it costs, because it's important to do. It's not an optional service. It's not student loans or some shit like that. Whatever it costs, you need to pay it.
Keystone Cop.
Asshole.
Hey, either way, all I gotta say is there ain't no goddamn insurrection going on. I bought a goddamn hot dog while I was standing on the freeway.
Yeah, it's a peaceful protest. We're mostly peaceful. Buildings are burning behind me, but don't worry, it's a mostly peaceful protest, boss.
Tyrone, fuck what are you talking about? I bought a hot dog on the freeway. So it ain't jumping off like that.
Yeah,
that was the easiest time. So all you need is more protests, and you got hot dogs on the highway you could get instead of having to get off the highway and having to stand. Right now, you basically cut on time. Thank you, Sarge. Come on. You acting like this shit is a war zone, Sarge.
Yeah, when they had the Muslim ban
and like a prudent president decided to not let it get bad enough, so you really need lots of troops. All you need now is maybe he's got less than the division there, and hopefully he won't need any more because he didn't let it get out of control.
Yeah. When they had the Muslim no-fly ban protest at JFK during Trump's first administration, a local pizza shop drove up and was giving everybody pizza, man. So, so Antifa burning the city. We'll burn the city down as soon as we finish this slice right here. We'll burn the city down as soon as we finish this hot dog right here. So most of these protests, man, are peaceful, absolutely peaceful, man. You got kids there. You got old people there. Yeah.
Let me get this straight then. It all came down and it's all calmed down now because there weren't any federal troops committed. So how did it calm down? You think maybe the troops might have had something to do with that? Yeah, I do. Yeah, it has calmed down a bit. And the troops were every bit the reason for it.
Motherfuckers go to work.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And go back and peacefully protest.
Yep. Right, and go home, eat dinner, and watch it on the news. And the troops had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
Mostly peaceful.
Yeah.
What the hell wrong with
Same
Sarge,
thing in
man?
Portland. Remember?
Y'all wait to say
They only
these
send
not
troops to
people
one
and
place.
people are out there with their
They only send
children.
troops to one place. There's protests everywhere. They send troops to just one place.
Sarge is stupid, man.
Man,
Listen,
them
I want
they
to.
need to well, whatever they got to do.
I
As
want to
many as
remind
they
y'all.
need to, wherever it flares up. Because this is sedition. They don't want immigration enforcement
It's
into
not
a
sedition.
precious sanctuary
Listen
state.
to the
This is
word.
the
It's
very
not-
definition of sedition.
It is not sedition.
Oh
Sedition
my
was January the
God,
6th.
sedition.
But I want to remind y'all that Donald Trump's first administration was filled with people in the street protesting. And here we go again in his second administration, filled with people in the street protesting. So what I'm trying to tell y'all is that there's a common denominator here. It's not the goddamn protesters.
Yeah,
It's the
lawless Californians and New York Cityers.
It's the fucking leadership of this country that is making the conditions to where people feel uneasy in this damn country and they don't have a voice anymore. And you can see that when Donald Trump is attacking the damn free press. You can see that when Donald Trump is locking up fucking senators and shooting goddamn rubber bullets at fucking reporters. You can see
He
that.
got handcuffed. He didn't get locked up. Stop it.
He got detained.
Don't
Sarge.
forget
He got detained.
locking them out
He
the
got
building.
detained for a while for acting like a jerk.
Oh God.
Here you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't forget Tyrone for
anything, you
locking them out the
goddamn ball
buildings also.
Yeah, they was locking them out the goddamn buildings. I mean,
He don't have a right to come in there. If he wants to come in there, let him go to a Senate committee like every other senator or congressman with sense. You don't just barge and say, I'm exercising my authority as a senator. That's not the way they work. That's not the way it's supposed to work. He's one of 535.
Yeah, but hey,
That's
Big
locked
OC,
up
you know,
the
it's funny
building.
because, I remember I went to the protest for the Dreamers during Trump's first administration. He was talking about kicking them out, and I asked the cop. I said, what's going on? He said, man, Trump is good for overtime. He's sitting there chilling, man.
Exactly.
He wasn't in riot gear. He wasn't all that stuff. That stuff is for the media, and the same thing, just like the riot police with all the gear and all that, sit there and pose for the media. The Antifa does too. Because I saw a bunch of Antifa, you can always tell because they're the ones with backpacks, and they'll have the mask outside of the backpack. And so, walking around with it. And so, they're just chilling too until the media comes around and everybody starts to act up. So I'm just saying, man, Sarge talking all that trash. Sarge ain't never been to a protest. You can tell. He's an armchair patriot. Give him a can of Bud and his MAGA hat, and he's all for America.
Fuck you, nigga. Go straight to hell. You lying lousy cocksucker. I've been in demonstrations where they're throwing everything at me with a kitchen sink.
I think I touched the nerve.
Are you out your fucking mind? Yes, you are.
Oh God.
I think I touched the nerve this, Sarge.
So we know for a fact. We know for a
Don't
fact.
just say any fucking thing. You don't care about the truth.
We know for a fact you didn't go to January
Let's do
6th.
that.
You told us you didn't go to January 6th, Sarge.
Negro, I've been at abortion demonstrations. I've been at trucker demonstrations. I've been at civil rights demonstrations. I've been at that project, whatever it was, with all them gangbanger disciples, took over the Thompson Center downtown. 5,000 of them came running up in there. We saw someone with arrest warrants. We had to go after them. They were throwing chairs and shit at us. Motherfucker, don't you dare tell me that shit.
You lying. Sit the
You
hell
was
up.
there snitching, nigga. You weren't there.
And fuck you too, you ratchet black queen. You go straight to hell.
Oh God. Y'all are crazy, man.
Goddamn snitch.
Did you get a slice of pizza?
No, I didn't no goddamn pizza. All I got was a goddamn bag full of feces. I'll throw it back at you.
Oh
We should have kept it as a souvenir.
Yeah, that's good.
There's something wrong with you, man. Sorry to be losing his mind, man.
Y'all motherfuckers lose your mind. You think the American people are with your ratchet asses because they ain't. This is a 70-30 issue at best for your side. And you think because you live in a goddamn echo chamber, you think everybody out there is agreeing with your stupid ass. They ain't.
Sarge, you got
Like I
to see.
said, Tyrone, some people
Go ahead.
they're so far behind they think that they're in the lead. You are in the, you have no idea the mood of this country changed a long time ago.
I'm going to help y'all get your word out. I promise you I will. I want the American people to hear you loud and clear. I'm going to help you. I'm going to just repeat verbatim what you say.
Well, at least get it right now. And, you know, as you are talking to the American people.
I've been reading Slavey Crockett and goddamn Hakeem Jeffries and goddamn Charles Schumer and all the rest of these Democrats. Gavin Newsom, that motherfucker Karen Bass.
Hold on.
I will say exactly what they say.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I'll remind the American people that you said you would break out the knee pads and give Ted Cruz help. So I'll remind them of that.
Oh, you got the love. You love to do this shit, don't you? You know goddamn well I'm right.
Drop it like
American people do not.
62%
of Hispanics agree with what Trump is doing.
Y'all.
I'm talking about Hispanic American citizens. 62% of them agree with what Trump is doing.
Back it up, Sarge.
That doesn't prove any point right there. I just want you to know that.
Right.
I'm not gonna prove a goddamn thing. It doesn't matter what I show you. You just reject it. You look it up yourself. I don't give a fuck whether you do or not. You ain't got to believe a goddamn thing I say. I could care less.
Well, you can't put
care less, that is. And I'll tell you right now, it is not, your position is not a popular one with the American people by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I ain't trying to win no popularity contest. I'm just trying to say what's right and what's wrong. I mean, what the fuck?
1,500
That's crazy.
goddamn protests on Saturday.
Man, there's 330-some million people in this country. It's easy to get a few 100,000 malcontents to riot. That ain't no problem.
So I mean, you got it bad, man. You are gone. You are gone. I don't.
No, you are gone. You like to make it your own reality and your own sense of law. You believe in a subjective application.
Shard, listen, brother.
You got your own idea. You believe in a subjective application of law. You do not at all believe in the objective application. You're a critical race theorist.
Sarge, listen. I literally shared the fucking law that you came onto the show with, and you don't acknowledge it. So don't tell me I try to make shit up. I read the shit to you.
Well, like I said, man, we're going to see what the courts say about it. And I'm not talking about
we
even
read
the
the fucking law.
This is going to have to go to the Supreme Court.
Nigga, you was a police officer. You was a police officer, and we read the law.
I didn't learn anything in all that time. Like I said, we'll just see what the Supreme Court says about it.
Okay, well, at least you admit the truth. You ain't know shit in all that time, so I can take that.
That's right. I don't know a damn thing. We'll see what the court knows about it, okay? Don't worry about me. Even though I'm right every time I get in this argument with you, what happens when it goes to the Supreme Court? Every time I'm right. But we'll see again this time.
Nah.
See the problem.
Never prevails at the Supreme Court. Not ever.
Abrego Garcia.
96% of the court cases.
Yeah, Sarge. Abrego Garcia, you said he was not coming back to this goddamn country, Sarge. Donald Trump backtracked. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You full of shit.
Has enough information on him to extradite him to charge him with offenses that he committed in the United States.
That is not the point. The point is you came on here and said that he will not be back in this goddamn country. You told me under no motherfucking circumstances will he step foot back on American soil, Sarge. That's what the fuck, under no circumstances. Now, just because they trumped up charges on that guy, I saw the video. They made up them goddamn charges and said that he was trafficking people and all that kind of bullshit. You don't know what the fuck you talking about because Abrego Garcia is back in America, nigga. Jesus
Listen
Christ.
to me, nigga Roach. There's only two things gonna happen with this motherfucker. Number one, he's gonna get tried in court and he gets acquitted. If he gets acquitted, he's gonna be deported back to El Salvador. The other option is he gets found guilty, he gets sent to a prison in the United States. If he's still alive at the end of the sentence, he again gets deported back to El Salvador. He will not live freely in the United States.
One question. Did you or did you not say that he will not?
Motherfucker, you ever meet anybody but me, motherfucker, ever?
Okay, one question. Listen, one question. Did you or did you not say he won't coming back to this country?
Yes, I did. It was based on information I had. I have more information now. They have enough information to indict him for crimes he committed in the United States, and they extradited him under the extradition treaty that we have with El Salvador.
Okay, so were you wrong?
You stupid motherfucker. That's what it is.
Okay, so were you wrong?
You goddamn gone to college.
You got.
Well, let me ask you, were you wrong when you said that, Sarge?
Yes, I was wrong. I didn't know they were playing a case against him.
Whenever
now I do.
Whenever you come on here and
I
say,
can say when I'm wrong, nigga, but it wasn't wrong out of bad faith.
Right. You have to get proved wrong, dumbass nigga.
Shit, they have information on this goddamn human trafficker, drug smuggler, and possible murderer.
Whatever, nigga.
They got information on this motherfucker, and you want to keep it. You motherfuckers go straight to hell. All you dirty, no good Rhode Island
Sorry. The reason, and this is the reason that I was having a Abrego Garcia conversation was about habeas corpus, due process. That's what the fuck I was arguing about, Sarge. I didn't say whether he was innocent or guilty of any crime.
He got found guilty to be deported by 2 immigration judges. How much fucking due process he supposed to get?
Okay, well, what I'm trying to tell you is I'm right.
How many times goddamn hearings you get this motherfucker?
Okay, well, I'm trying to. He's back in the United States for due process, motherfucker. Do you understand that? That's why he's back here. Do you understand that?
No, he's back here because the Department of Justice requested that he be extradited by the El Salvadorian government. Otherwise, he wouldn't be back here if Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice had not requested his return to the United States. And the government of El Salvador decided to comply with that request.
Oh, God, Mother of Jesus.
Yeah, hey, Tyrone, man. Tyrone, you got to throw a bag of shit at him. That's how you get his attention.
People I've ever spoken to.
Yeah, I hear you, Sarge. I hear you.
Shut the hell up.
Just sit down, keep on moving your toes around, and that sock with a hole in it, nigga.
Right, hold your breath.
Yeah, just throw a bag of shit at him. You like
delinquent, silly, crazy, just make up realities, just live in a fucking echo chamber, ignorant as hell and proud of it.
Yeah.
This nigga said he wins with the Supreme Court. 5 seconds later,
why is he appealing
bring up
it?
Abrego Garcia, and this nigga lost.
Yeah.
That fast. Just get proven a liar in 10 seconds.
What did this fool just say? I missed that. Would you say that again? Because you are utterly incoherent. What did he say?
I said you was a goddamn liar.
Why am I a liar, nigga roach?
Sarge, you said you always win with the Supreme Court, correct?
Yeah, yes. What did I did not win? What did my opinion not prevail with in the Supreme Court?
And just like I had brought up, Abrego Garcia came back.
That didn't go to the Supreme Court, you dumbass.
Didn't the Supreme Court rule against Donald Trump?
That case didn't go to the Supreme Court. It was in a federal district court.
No, it wasn't, Sarge. Listen.
And you just don't got that stupid and ignorant.
Listen, before that judge made a decision, it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that the United States have to facilitate Garcia coming back. Sorry, that was the Supreme Court.
Look, man, that had to do with his coming back to the United States. And guess what?
Nigga, you just admitting that you lost with the Supreme Court.
Wait a minute. They did facilitate his return, and guess what? El Salvador at the time said, we ain't giving him back. He's our citizen. So that's all they could do. What do you want to invade El Salvador?
No, nigga. The Supreme Court said facilitate the goddamn return. You were saying that he's not going to touch foot on the American soil again. So right there, before he even came back over here, you was in disagreement and you was wrong about the goddamn Supreme Court, nigga.
Hey, Sarge, bite your tongue, nigga.
He is not being brought here for another immigration hearing. He is being brought here to answer for crimes that the Department of Justice said that he committed on United States soil. He's not coming back here for an immigration case.
Bite your tongue, nigga.
Do you know what the fuck you're talking about? No.
It doesn't matter. He's back on American soil.
It does matter because the United States wanted him back to answer for the crimes he committed.
In other words, they want him back to go through due process, right, nigga?
Hold on.
That's exactly right. And even if he's acquitted, he's going to be deported back to El Salvador, even if he's found not guilty.
In a 9-0 ruling, the justices declined to block a lower court's order to facilitate bringing back Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Stupid nigga.
Nigga, I'm telling you again, why was the motherfucker brought back in El Salvador? Because El Salvador's keeping him in the Seacot jail over there.
Me shit. SARS.
No, they were keeping him in the CCOT jail over there, Negro. And then the United States said, no, we want him back here. El Salvador said, why do you want him back here in the United States? Because this motherfucker's been involved in human trafficking. He's been involved in drug dealing. He's been involved maybe in murder. We want him back because we want to try his stinking ass.
Hold on. Hey, real quick, Tyrone. Was Abrego Garcia checking in to immigration?
Yes.
That you know of?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure this drug trafficking, human trafficking, whatever the fuck he is. I don't know why that nigga checking in, doing all that goddamn.
Well, why don't you read the grand jury indictment and maybe you'll find out.
Oh boy.
None of that.
If you're capable of reading, after all, you went to college. You might not be.
Hey,
Sorry, why
you
don't you just admit you don't know everything? You're very biased. And
no, I don't know everything. I don't know how this case is going to come out, but I'm telling you, no matter how it comes out, he doesn't get to live freely in the United States. He's going to be deported back to El Salvador, whether he's found guilty or whether he's acquitted.
You creating your own narrative. Don't nobody care about that. Ain't nobody arguing that,
You don't ever care about the truth of fact. Not ever, OC. You don't like me. You don't like what I have to say. So that makes everything I say illegitimate. So in the meantime, you just go to hell, suck your thumb, and live with your delusions. Because I'm not responsible for that.
You keep on going. All right. But what we know is all they had to do was send homeboy a letter, whatever the fuck, letting him know what was up, and that would have been enough due process. It's already been out there, SARS.
He's not coming back here for an immigration hearing. I don't know why you
said that about no immigration hearing.
fail to comprehend that.
Listen, you dumb bitch. Nobody said nothing about him coming back for an immigration hearing. All I said is that they didn't afford him due process when they shipped his ass over there on the goddamn plane. So whether he's coming back, shut the fuck up. Whether he's coming back for an immigration hearing, a criminal hearing, a civil hearing, he needs to go through a goddamn justice system to be allowed due process,
two different immigration judges that he needed to be deported.
Okay, was he supposed to go back to El Salvador, SARS? Yes or no?
Yes.
God damn, you a lying ass nigga.
The only reason they said that, let me tell you what they failed to do, and they did fail to do one thing.
He's a lying ass nigga, man.
I know. I'm trying to argue your point. I'm trying to argue your point.
Don't
shut up and listen.
I don't need your help, sucker.
Yeah, you do need some help because you're pitiful. You really need some help.
No, I don't.
You're pathetic.
I promise.
I mean, your lack of understanding on these issues is really glaring.
I promise you, I don't. Okay, go ahead.
Well, then,
finish your line.
fuck it. Just say whatever you want to say then.
Finish your line.
Go ahead, just ramble on.
Finish your line. I'll come back.
All right, and let me say it again. Shit.
Yeah, get your lie together, nigga. Line it up.
Motherfucker, I swear to God, man.
It's hard to remember them lies. It's hard to remember them lies. It's hard.
You are just so goddamn typical of the left.
Why you gotta attack me?
You really are.
Finish your lie.
You're literally in opposition to truth and fact and the law.
Oh my goodness! All right.
I mean, you have a gut instinct to resent it if it doesn't go your way.
See how you can't get to it? Get to the lie now, man.
Sounds to me like you really want to hear it, don't you?
I do.
My senility just took over. I forgot what the question was.
You hear him solid, nobody?
No, my senility just took over. I forgot what the question was. You want to rephrase it for me again so I make sure I get it right?
Nope.
No, sir.
You're not. I'm not talking to you, Ratchet Queen. I'm talking to him. Wait a minute. So look, man, would you please rephrase your question so I can frame it correctly? My answer.
Pamper boy. Put a miss in front of that, Pamper boy.
I ain't gonna put miss on shit. You as long as you stay ratchet.
All right, Pamper boy.
You wore that Black Queen shit out. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. Hey man, what's your question that you want to ask me, OC?
What I asked you was
he ain't asking you nothing.
Why are you interrupting this, man? What, you got no manners?
That's right. Remember,
supposed to be sent to El Salvador.
Okay, I was about to tell you what they did wrong, which I will agree they missed the step.
Oh boy!
But you didn't want to you want to hear because you want to listen to Ratchet Queen run a big stupid ignorant gap.
But yes or
well,
no?
You could ask Miss Ratchet Queen to shut up for a minute, and I'll take about 30 seconds to answer the question.
Boy, is that what you and your little Glee Club came up with, Ratchet Queen?
You are the ratchet queen. Yes, I have crowned your ass.
Before that,
So again, man, let me explain. Let me give you an answer, man.
That tells you the mentality of old Peckerwood.
An interview in which they're supposed to give him an interview asking him if the conditions that prevailed for him to ask for asylum still prevailed in the country that he would be sent back to. They neglected to give that interview. They were supposed to have done it. Now, that's what they did do wrong.
Okay. Were they supposed to send him to El Salvador?
They were supposed to have done that before they sent him to El Salvador, but it's not the kind of defect that would prevent him from being deported.
Okay, but was there anything in place that said anything like, don't send him to El Salvador? Anything like that?
Yes, he had a deportation order, and it was up to the president to decide where to deport him to. You do realize that immigration courts are Article 2 courts. They're not Article 3 courts. They are in the executive branch.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, do you realize that, or you want to argue? You're going to call me a liar for saying that?
No. I know you want to go somewhere where you think he winning. But
No. I want to make sure you understand they're not like Article 3 courts like the Supreme Court is. The reason Congress put them in the executive branch was for exactly this reason.
Listen to the dumb shit.
Right.
That means it's subject to the supervision of the Attorney General of the United States, not the Supreme Court, like federal district courts are.
Tyrone must have hung up.
No, I'm here.
No, he's
the motherfucking ears probably.
I mean, I know you guys hate the law and the way things are structured, but you really ought to learn about them.
Okay. Once again, was there anything in place saying not to send Abrego Garcia to El Salvador?
There was nothing to prohibit the president from shipping him to
you didn't answer his question. You said prohibit and all this shit. Answer the man's question. Answer the man's question.
Only said that he was to be deported. The mechanics of it are left to the executive branch.
He was not to be deported to El Salvador.
No, they said no. That was the district court who was overruled.
Listen, if he was to be deported, that's okay. I'll go with you on that. But he had a standing order not to be deported to El Salvador.
Yeah, well, the plate was in midair and they weren't about to turn around.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You wrong again.
Yeah, blah, blah,
I know.
blah. Like I said, in the mid-Atlantic, they were not about to turn around.
Yeah, it's amazing how you obfuscate when you're wrong. It's amazing. It's amazing how you start walking sideways when you're wrong. You start walking sideways. You want to tell everybody. You want to tell everybody you're a straightforward dude. You're a straightforward guy. You want to tell everybody on here you're straightforward, but you start walking sideways when you're wrong. I get it.
Directly, nigga Roach. You just don't like my answer. Like I said.
This nigga Roach got his foot in your ass.
Gave him an order to take that motherfucker to El Salvador. That's what that man was going to do.
I got all 8 legs kicking you in your ass, Carl.
In the middle of the goddamn ocean.
Yeah.
So now officers or military can disregard judges' orders?
They don't obey judges, or they obey we ever seen the chain of command from
you already stuttering because you know you sound stupid. He already stuttered.
After the Secretary of Defense, it goes to the service chief, and then after the service chief, it goes to the first uniformed member of that branch.
You know when the judge,
chain of command is a judge.
When the judge casts his,
in that chain of command is a judge.
When the judge casts his order, that means that the National Guard goes back under the control of the governor, who has authority over the National Guard. And you already know that's how it works. But you seem to obfuscate around that. You walking all around it, but the obvious is right there. Can I finish speaking? Can I finish speaking, sir? Can I finish speaking, sir? Can I finish speaking? Can I finish speaking? Whether I'm right or wrong, let me finish speaking. I don't need you cutting in and cutting out and trying to interrupt me. So when the judge passes order and those motherfucking troops go back under the control of the governor, no longer under control of the president, because the president has to federalize them in order to control them. When they go back to the states, president can't do shit.
And when they do, and if and when they do return to state service, they will do so under written orders from the commander-in-chief. Not until then.
Okay, so Sarge is giving the president way more power than he has. So the laws in the United States is the laws. Even the president of the United States have to follow the laws. And how do we understand the laws? We understand the laws because the judges, federal judges in particular, since they interpret the laws. So the president is not a goddamn judge. So if he misinterpreted the law, if his legal team misinterpreted the laws, it's the job of the goddamn judge to say, okay, well, shit, y'all got that wrong. Here's the correct interpretation. This is what you're supposed to be. Sarge is trying to put a judge in a military chain of goddamn command when that ain't in his place. They're the judicial goddamn branch. That's what the fuck their job's supposed to do. And to the life of me, I don't understand why this former police officer don't understand none of this shit that I'm saying right now. And why you trying to drag the conversation down to where judges ain't in the chain of command? That ain't where the fuck they supposed to be, nigga. They supposed to interpret the laws because the president of the United States and his administration broke some goddamn laws or did something wrong by deporting these people the way that they deported them. It wasn't legal. It clearly wasn't legal, and that's why you have the judges jump in there because somebody fucking filed a lawsuit and said, hey, they did this shit illegally, and the judge said, you know what, you're right. They did it illegal, or you're wrong, they can do it. Sarge, what the fuck is you talking about? What you confuse me every time I hear you.
Until the Department of Defense, the Secretary of Defense, and/or the President cuts written orders to that unit, they ain't going nowhere.
Nigga, an order ain't a fucking law, nigga. You're saying that the president of the United States can make up laws on the goddamn spot through these fucking orders and shit. You're crazy. The laws is already established. The way the president acts is they're acting within the confines of the goddamn Constitution. They supposed to do shit by the fucking law. And when they go outside of the goddamn law, that's when you call the judge in and say, hey, this motherfucker, I think he made a mistake. And the judge could either say yay or nay, because that's his job to interpret the goddamn law. If he says no, then the president's response or his administration is to correct them goddamn selves, Sarge, or get sued or whatever the fuck. That's why we got this whole goddamn system going.
That's what Gavin did, Tyrone. He said he went to the court and said, hey, court, the president has illegally took over my National Guard. He's illegally federalized my National Guard. So now he controls. So I need you to grant me relief and give me my troops back because I'm the one who's supposed to control. And that's all the judge. Okay, no problem. You got your shit back. So whatever the fuck order that the president gave the National Guard, it's automatically illegal order that they don't have to follow. And the Marines are going to have to go back to motherfucking work. That's just serious. Those 500 or 700 Marines going to have to go back to work, and the National Guard is going to await standing orders from the governor like they supposed to.
And understand this, guys. Whenever the president are giving these military forces orders, them generals are not going to disobey him. And I understand why. I think they should, but they're not going to do it. So because they don't disobey the president, it makes it look like that's a legitimate move. It's not. It's still illegal. Just because he federalized the fucking National Guard and the general said, okay, that doesn't make it right. It's just nuts.
So let me get this straight. According to you now, if the president doesn't give him, or the Department of Defense doesn't give him written orders to return to the command of the government of California, they're just going to, on their own, disband themselves and go back under control of the government. That's what you're saying to me?
No, I did not say that.
Now, that sounds like what you're saying.
Ain't nobody said that. What I'm saying is initially, if the president is acting within the confounds of the goddamn laws of this damn country and the Constitution, he got every right to do whatever the fuck he's doing. But if he's acting outside of those fucking limitations, Sarge, then he's wrong. That's what I'm trying to say. And with the National Guard and the Marines in California, what the president and his administration did was fucking wrong. That's why Gavin Newsom went to goddamn court and said, "Look, this guy is acting out outside the fucking letter of the lines of the fucking law."
It was illegal.
I mean, goddamn, what the fuck is wrong with you? Didn't you wear a motherfucking badge, nigga?
Illegal.
The fuck is wrong with
Let
you?
me rephrase the question, because I swear you're the most hard-headed son of a bitch I ever tried to talk to. Let me rephrase the question. Will you tell this ratchet to shut up so I can rephrase my question, please?
No, Pimple Boy, I'm not
Will you
going to
please
do
do
that.
it? She won't shut up. She just keeps running
Stop
around.
calling her
She don't know
ratchet.
nothing.
She's the only one on here you calling ratchet.
Do you mind? Would you please mute her or something?
For
so
what?
I can rephrase my question to you, and I can get a coherent answer this time.
Go ahead. Let
All
him
right, here's the question again. Let's say hypothetically, you hear the word I just used, hypothetically. Let's say hypothetically, the president is wrong and he did something illegal. All right? Now, let's say that that's the case.
Okay.
I want to know this. Can this National Guard unit simply disband itself on hearing about the order from a judge on their own authority with no written order from the Department
hell no.
Okay, so hold on.
Well,
no, I got your question. So let's say what your hypothetical is all correct and the president did something illegal, right? So what would happen, since Gavin Newsom is in charge of the National Guard, Gavin Newsom would probably step in and give them correct fucking goddamn orders. It's not like they have to wait on the president of the United States to fucking disband or undo whatever the fuck he did if it's illegal, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with you? Gavin Newsom is in charge of his goddamn National Guard. Or you was in the National Guard. What the fuck is wrong with you?
We couldn't do a goddamn thing without written orders, and you know fucking A-well.
Hey, Tyrone. I got you, Tyrone. I got you right. I got you, Tyrone. I got you right here.
That nigga was giving out shoes. He wasn't doing shit in the damn army.
I got you right here, Tyrone. When the court files this order to remove or basically stop Trump's deputization of the National Guard, that's the only thing that gives the president control over the National Guard, is he has to federalize them, just like a sheriff would have to deputize a citizen before they can go doing shit for the damn deputy. So it's the same. So as soon as the judge files an order, the command and control of the National Guard goes back to the governor.
That's what I just
and
said.
He can issue them a written. Goddamn, why are you talking? Why is your dick beaters moving?
Hold on, Sarge. Hold on. Go ahead, Mama's boy. Hold on, Sarge. I got you muted for a second.
So once the governor gets control back with the National Guard, he can issue them orders to do whatever the fuck he wants them to do or supposed to do, or what he can make them stand down.
That's what I just said. Is that once the judge made his decision and Gavin Newsom gets back into control of the National Guard, he can do whatever the fuck he want to do, Sarge. Sarge, you was in the damn National Guard. You know that you was under the goddamn governor of that goddamn state. I don't know why the fuck you think the president can just overstep that goddamn authority that the governor has and just do whatever fucking little scribble on paper and make up all these goddamn rules.
Not to mention, Tyrone, real quick.
Let him answer.
Let me say this real quick, Tyrone.
And you make sure to mute me and nobody fucking else.
Okay, but I wanted to hear what Mama's boy had to say.
Will you answer what you just got through saying?
Go ahead. Let him answer.
Yeah, please. Would you tell me to shut up so I can answer?
Okay, go
ahead.
ahead.
All right, listen. I know what I did for 19 years in the National Guard. 19 goddamn years. And even we went summer camp. We had orders to end our summer camp deployment. Even though we knew it was for 2 weeks, we knew it was going to be up. We were demobilized by a written order. Right. Now, even if what you say occurs, that these troops revert to the order of the state governor. There has to be a written order from the president and or the Department of Defense first. That's got to come first.
Okay, if the Department of the Defense and the president wrote illegal shit to begin with, it's in fucking valid, you motherfucker. Now, out of courtesy, they can write up these goddamn fake ass goddamn orders to release them, or the Department of Defense can do something out of courtesy just to try to check a box or whatever the fuck. But if it was initially illegal, it don't even fucking matter. The shit was illegal. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I swear to God, man, I don't believe you in the Army. I just can't believe you talk to. You couldn't be in the Army talking like this.
Sarge try to dance around. Let East Coast say what
I mean, you literally are making
up things that cannot happen in
the Army. Written orders are what they work on.
Okay, guys, listen. I'm getting ready to open these lines and shut down
Q&A
YouTube.
session is over. All participants are unmuted.
And
East Coast, come on.
East Coast, go ahead.
No. I was just agreeing. You look at that fine law, it explains the 10th Amendment. It talks about Article 3. You can read it for yourself. We hear you, Sarge, but when we read it for ourselves, you took a beating tonight, Sarge. I tell you.
My viewpoint's got to prevail in the Supreme Court.
Yeah. That's some more of that Will Smith shit.
All right, guys. If you're on YouTube, y'all go ahead and call in. I'm getting ready to shut the stream down, and I appreciate everybody calling in tonight. Sarge, you're a good trooper. Let me stop lying. You're a bad trooper.
Always been.
It says you. I mean, you might want to look at that written order shit, because I ain't never heard nobody talk like you in the Army ever. Not
Sarge,
one day.
Sarge, listen, it's simple. It's simple. The National Guard belongs to the damn state. Let's start there. The President of the United States is not authorized to federalize the National Guard unless there's an invasion or a rebellion, or he can't uphold the laws of this country. Those are the three conditions which the President of the United States can federalize the goddamn National Guard. Those are the only goddamn ones, Sarge. Hold on, guys. I'm using the standards set forth in Title 10 that Sarge brought forth. So those are the only three standards, and neither one of those goddamn standards was met in L.A. So without those standards being met, and he has to coordinate this with the governor. So without those standards being met, he federalized the National Guard outside of that goddamn law. That's what the fuck happened. So that made it illegal what Donald Trump did. That made it illegal what the Pentagon did. It just did, Sarge. I don't know what the fuck else to tell you. So anything else that we're talking about is your fucking fantasization that Donald Trump is some king and he has to put his stamp of approval on it and all this kind of dumb shit. I don't follow that shit.
Frodo just put it in the chat room. I'm looking at it now. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has stayed Judge Breyer's order requiring Trump to hand control of National Guard back to Newsom. So once again, he's still got control of the California National Guard.
No, that just means that they're going to court.
What did you just say?
Judge Breyer.
That just means he's going to court.
Fuck you!
That shit don't make sense.
Over a stay? You doing all this fucking crashing out over a stay?
Fuck you!
It's not
Well,
even
okay,
his
Sarge.
state. It's not even Georgia.
Okay. Y'all, hold on. I'll take your fuck you, Sarge. The ultimate fuck you means it's a court date, right? It's court schedule. They gonna have to come argue this shit, right? Right, Sarge?
All right, I agree. Now, why don't you say that before?
Now, Sarge. Now, still fuck me.